Aberdeen with John Robertson, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, it's been called the £5 million game, hasn't it? The prize for finishing third, although John and Cally Thistle will hope that they take all those prizes and plaudits by upsetting the odds in the Scottish Cup final. But I think unless you're a Cally Thistle supporter, you're probably anticipating that those spoils will go to whoever finishes third in the Premiership. And at the moment, Hearts and Aberdeen are the two fighting for that. Hibs will have a say as well if they can beat Rangers in the capital tomorrow. But 24 hours before that, it's Hearts against Aberdeen, the fourth meeting between the sides this season. And the three so far have gone to the home team. Aberdeen winning both at Pittodrie. They blew Hearts away inside half an hour a couple of months ago. They won 3-0. As Hearts did to Aberdeen here in January, and what was that dark period in Aberdeen Football Club's history, not just this season, as they shipped 5 here and 6 across the city at Easter Road, either side of that Scottish Cup humbling at Darvel in East Ayrshire. It was 10 awful days for Aberdeen, but how Barry Robson has turned things around. It looked like Hearts were going to canter to third, as they did last season, but it is they, with 3 games to go, who are playing catch-up. 2 changes for the home team from last week's draw. Paisley against St Mirren, of course, that late Shanklin penalty helping them to a point. Atkinson and Cochrane come in for Hill and Halliday, go to the bench. Clark in goal, Atkinson, Sibbick, Rowles and Cochrane, Haring and Devlin, Oda, Shanklin, Ginnelly and Mackay. For Aberdeen, they have been shorn of Duke. He's out with a hamstring injury sustained against Hibs last week. Duncan and Coulson are out as well. Duncan's on the bench. Richardson, Barron and Watkins all coming in for their first starts in a heck of a long time. Ross in goal, Pollock, McDonald, Scales, Richardson and Hayes, Barron and Ramadani, Clarkson, Miovski and Watkins. An Aberdeen team that's only conceded 1 goal from open play since they were beaten 4-0 at Celtic Park in February. And that was Todd Cantwell's winner at Ibrox a fortnight ago. Leighton Clarkson takes kick-off, rolls it back to McDonald. Aberdeen in their change colours, the white jerseys with the red pinstripes, black shorts, white socks, going left to right, shooting towards the Gorgie Road end. As we watch from the back of the Wheatfield, Hearts in their maroon shirts, white shorts, maroon socks, will shoot towards the Roseburn school end of Tynecastle, where you will find the small pocket of 600 Aberdeen supporters there. Ticket allocation was slashed for this one, as Hearts allowed more briefs to be sold amongst their own supporters. Not despite the fact there was 1,200 Celtic fans here when they won the league 2 weeks ago. It's a dreadful ball by Sibbick, giving it straight to Richardson. Watkins to his right, inside the box. Just let it go under his foot though, and he has to come outside the area on this near side to get it under control. He's being put under pressure here by Kai Rolls. Watkins wins the throw-in, level with the Hearts 6-yard line on this near side. Inside the opening minute, John Robertson, a poor ball out of defence by Toby Sibbick.
Yeah, and perhaps fortunate that it fell to Marley Watkins, who doesn't, maybe not as match sharp, not as played many games as Duke has recently, because if his control was any better, he had a chance to pull the trigger there.
Richardson over the throw-in for Aberdeen onto the chest of Clarkson. Ramadani heads it into the box. It's away by Devlin. Shankland trying to hold it up. Mackay trying to get it up the line here, but it's just going to drift out for an Aberdeen throw-in. What they want to do is start well, Aberdeen, because Hearts in their last 2 home games under Stephen Naismith have come roaring out of the traps. Against Ross County, where they put 6 past a beleaguered Staggies, and then against Celtic, where that game completely changed its path upon Alex Cochrane's red card just before half-time, as Celtic went on to win 2-0 and wrap up the league title here almost a fortnight ago, as that comes all the way back to Zander Clark. And you do, Willie, when you come to this arena where the fans are on top of you, when it so favours the home team, you have to start well. You need to get bedded in quickly.
You do, yeah. And first touches are always really important. I think for Sibbick, his first pass was just awful. But Watkins, if he does take a good touch in that, as John says, he's right in goal, and it's a big opportunity. I'm surprised with the Aberdeen setup. The 2 wing backs are much higher than I expected them to be. I thought that they would sit back, making it a back 5 rather than a back 3, but that hasn't been the case. Both Richardson and Hayes have been pushed forward, so I think that tells you that Barry Robson has set it up slightly different from most of the games that I've watched this season, and that he's asking his wing backs to get forward and take the game to Hearts. That was quite a tough tackle out there on the touchline, though,
Hayes has
as
just
well.
been caught by Atkinson. Free kick, no yellow. It's right in the touchline, but 6 yards inside his own half for Liam Scales. Long ball, Miovski giving chase. He's not going to get there, though. And it just bobbles behind for a goal kick to the home team as we approach the 3-minute mark. 0-0 in the very early stages of this crucial battle in the race to finish third in the Premiership and all the possible riches that will come with that. Aberdeen are 9 visits to Tynecastle without a victory. Their last one was in May 2017. Ian Cathro was the Hearts manager. Adam Rooney and Anthony O'Connor scored the goals in what was the final match to be played in front of the old main stand here. As Aberdeen pick up with Watkins, gets it round Rolls, and Cochrane's been caught. The ball was long gone there by Jayden Richardson, and Kevin Clancy blows the whistle, and that's going to be a Hearts free kick, just as it looked as though Aberdeen were going to be in a promising attacking position.
Well, I didn't actually see the incident, to be perfectly honest, because I'm watching Watkins, who's well away, good skill, you know, to take the ball down the line, and it's, you know, Hearts are opened up and there's plenty of space for him to advance, but Richardson's obviously, you know, had an infringement. Referee's right on the spot as well.
Aberdeen not only shorn of Duke today because of injury, Ross McCrory remaining out injured, and of course Graham Shinney suspended. This is match 4 of his suspension, and is the game he misses because the SFA bolted on that extra game ban after the red card received in Dingwall. Clarkson can control in the centre circle. It's with Oda for Hearts, just moving it out towards Atkinson on that right hand side. 4 in, Hearts with the first real feel of the ball here. Lovely play by Atkinson, away from Clarkson. Barron trying to make the challenge, but it's worked back to Devlin right at the centre circle, and then Rolls completes that Australian triumvirate, and it's moved out to Barry Mackay on this near side. Low ball into the box, Shankland with the touch, got round the defender. It's mopped up by Liam Scales, who puts it out for a throw-in down by the corner flag on this near side for Hearts, which Alex Cochrane's going to take. He's taken it short to Mackay. He's level with the Aberdeen penalty spot on this near side. Low ball back to Peter Haring, who of course had his red card downgraded during the week there upon appeal, as Atkinson steps away from Miovski. Barron with a good challenge there. Scales helps him out. And now it's with Ilber Ramadani, who's managed to squeeze it through to Clarkson. Now it's Watkins, he's got Miovski off to his left. Now it's Miovski, it's 2-on-2 here. Bojan Miovski's inside the box, gets it onto the right, feet away from 1 and 2. Haring gets back and does a really good job, and Civic digs it out. Only as far as Hayes, who crosses in. Miovski throws out the left leg to try and get it under control. He can't quite do that. Can't find Hayes either, and Yutaro Oda gets it clear. That was a really promising attacking position there for Aberdeen. 2-on-2, Watkins put it through to Miovski. Probably needed to put it a bit more in front of the number 9 though.
It's exactly what Aberdeen have done over the last few weeks on the Barry Robson there. They had to soak up Hearts first, the real bit of pressure. The crowd roared as the Hearts came forward. They won the ball, quick transition, suddenly 2v2, and Miovski just couldn't get that half a yard they needed. There was just enough Hearts players there to crowd them out, but that's twice in a row Aberdeen have broke and looked very, very menacing indeed.
Miovski goes to ground, shake of the head from Kevin Clancy, who's the referee this afternoon. It's a long ball by Atkinson. Angus MacDonald's underneath it, up towards halfway. Devlin's a heavy touch, Barron hits it forward, long ball, but it will come all the way through to Xander Clark. 6 in at Tynecastle Park. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0, as that's bowled out quickly by Clark to Mackay, who moves it infield to Cochrane, playing as an inverted fullback just about at the moment. Cochrane is Haring, side foots it from inside the centre circle to the right for Atkinson, onto the touchline for Oda, midway inside Aberdeen territory. It's Devlin for Haring. Haring then rolls it to Cochrane. Mackay's on the touchline on this near side. Mackay up against Richardson. He's waiting for an option in Maroon. He elects to go back the way to Kai Rolls, and now it's with Haring. Haring in possession with Connor Barron facing him. Haring manages to find Shankland. Scales sticks to him, but Atkinson picks up and rolls it out to Oda. He's inside the box. Yutaro Oda, they're going to get it back onto the left foot. His shot blocked by Scales. Breaks to Haring. Haring then first time to Mackay, left of the D, bends it in. Scales heads clear, and Richardson hits it back towards his own goal. And then it looked like there might have been a foul on Matty Pollock. The referee says yes, it was. And that's a free kick to Aberdeen inside their own penalty area. Liam Scales' header was important there. Keller Roos had actually dived to try and get there. He was out of position, and Aberdeen get away with one. 7 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, but they're pretty good at that. They're pretty good at defending these type of situations, to be perfectly honest. Now, you know, since Barry Robson has taken over, he's got them well drilled at the back. You can see clearly the 5 sitting back there, not too much room. The 3 just in front of them, really compact unit. And you know, when Hearts get the ball in the final third and try to, you know, take on that Aberdeen defence, they're going to have to be pretty cute and accurate with their passes, because the Dons don't give too much away, and certainly they don't give away too much space in these areas.
Rode their luck at times last week though, didn't they, against Hibs? Pittodrie, particularly with that penalty kick which was saved by Roos. Kevin Nisbet denied. It looked like it would be a Hibs winner with just over 10 minutes to play in the game at the time. Aberdeen got away with it, and they've been, as Willie says, they've been defending outstandingly well recently when you consider those back-to-back visits to Edinburgh in January, and the fact they've only conceded a couple of goals since February. One of those was a Jamie McGrath penalty at Tannadice. As Zander Clark's long ball finds touch and out it goes for a throw into Aberdeen over on that far side. 8 in, 0-0, almost 8.5 in now. Scales takes the throw in, bowls it to Clarkson, back to Scales first time. Civic's cushion header into the midfield for Haring. Lost out to a combination of Clarkson and Barron as the bouncing ball over on the far side. Eventually he's popped back in field there by Shanklin to Haring. He goes to Rolls, who rolls it to his left for Cochrane. Cochrane's ball down this near side. The target's Josh Ginnelly. We've not seen in the game yet. Can't find him. He was out for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. He's a good foil for Lawrence Shanklin, Josh Ginnelly, isn't he, John?
He is, and it's going to be a difficult task for him today, because they say Shanklin's going to float in front of the Aberdeen defenders, and that, Willie's already said Aberdeen are sitting deep, so the spaces that Josh Ginnelly would want to run into aren't really available. And the interesting for me today is Hearts must get it to Oda, they must get it to Shanklin, and they must get it into Barry Mackay, because Haring and Devlin are two gritty midfield players rather than playmakers, and as Willie's already said, there's very little room to thread that pass through, and I'm not sure that's Devlin or Haring's strength. So it's important that Mackay, Shanklin, Oda get on the ball and they can see the pass that might just unlock this Aberdeen defence.
Throwing Aberdeen midway inside Hearts territory as we approach the 10-minute mark. 0-0. Richardson with the throw in onto the chest of Miovski, right hand side of the penalty area, but he's eventually bullied out of possession by 3 Hearts players. The Ramadani slides in to stymie Barry Mackay down on this near side, and out for a Hearts throw-in as Cochrane drives the ball down with his jersey, and we tick on to 10 minutes. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0. Remember, a draw, not really enough for Hearts today. Been excellent at home in the last couple of matches though, and really got the supporters with them from the off in those matches against Ross County and Celtic. They've not been anywhere near as good away from home. It's the same for Aberdeen. As that loose ball, Johnny Hayes chasing it down. Oda got there first, did he? Says the referee. Hayes says he did. The referee sides with the Hearts player who's on the deck, and Kevin Clancy gives Hearts the free kick.
You know, I think Johnny Hayes is every right to go for the ball. You know, we're very far away from it, so we don't get a close-up view of it. He slides low into the ground.
It's been yellow carded as well.
I don't know about that. Listen, maybe they've got a better view the other side. For me, it's a genuine challenge for the ball. Oda went down as though he wasn't going to get up for the rest of the game. He's now up. He's at the other end of the park. As I said, you know, to give judgment on it, I would need a clearer view of it. I don't have that clearer view, but for me, Johnny Hayes goes in, yeah, wholeheartedly, but I think pretty fairly and pretty honestly as well.
Brian McLaughlin's our pitch side reporter. He doesn't have a monitor today though, unfortunately, so if there's anything we need to be reviewed, we'll go to Leanne, who's in the studio in Glasgow. 11 minutes in, goalless here, and Zander Clark boots it forward with the right foot from the edge of his own box, right down the middle of the pitch. Underneath it's McDonald, it breaks Haring's way, now it's Shankling, it's the touch away from Pollock, but Richardson's there to mop it up and put it out for a throw-in on this near side level with the Aberdeen penalty spot. Won't do Richardson's confidence any harm at all. He's in his troubles defending this season, as Mackay picks up on the near side for Hearts, level with the Aberdeen 18. Rolls it back to Haring, who's in a bit of space here. Haring looking for space for one of his teammates though. He's found Oda, who helps it on its way to Atkinson, wide on the right, looks up, low ball across, cut out by Clarkson, breaks back to Yutaro Oda over on the far side. Bliss step overs against Scales, gets the overlap from Atkinson. He's away from Liam Scales, and Hayes puts it behind for a Hearts corner. This is the first corner of the afternoon. It comes to the home team, 12 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, it's better from Hearts, and I'd really like to see Hearts target Richardson. You know, you've said, Liam, that he's not played for such a long time. All the analysts in there, they must know that. They must say this guy's last game was way back in January. Give it to Barry and let's see what he's got. Not really done that so far.
Cochrane with the short corner to Oda. What a waste it was. Clarkson goes out and nicks it off him. Clarkson goes down. The referee's allowing Aberdeen an advantage here with Connor Barron, who drives it forward, but it's the wrong side of Miovski, and it comes the way of Atkinson. What a waste from a Hearts point of view that was.
It was, just on that point, Barry Mackay's had 3 opportunities to take Richardson on, and we know that that's not the strongest part of his game, Richardson defensively, and he hasn't taken the opportunity.
Miovski helping him out this time as Ramadani knocks it through to Watkins, who was offside, and I think Bojan Miovski's felt the full brunt of that previous challenge. He's still on the deck down below us here, deep inside his own half. 13 minutes in, he did a really good job actually, because Jayden Richardson was struggling. As John mentioned there, he hasn't started for such a long time. December, the defeat to Rangers it was, a couple of sub-appearances since then. Same can be said for Connor Barron. He started the game against Kilmarnock towards the end of December, hasn't started a game since then, and Marley Watkins hasn't started a game since October. So 3 of that Aberdeen side are short of real starting match fitness, match practice. As Oda collects for Hearts over on the far side, Miovski's back on his feet. 13.5 in, 0-0. Shanklin, brilliant, burrowing away from a couple of defenders, shoots at the edge of the box. Roast gets down to make the save, and he holds on at the second attempt. Shanklin didn't catch it as well as he would have liked to, though, as the Aberdeen goalkeeper's forced into his first save of the afternoon. 0-0, 14 played. John Robertson.
Yeah, well, that's what Shanklin's all about. He got a little ricochet to begin with, but once he took advantage of that, he got a shot away. It was a good save.
Here's Ginnelly. The challenge is good from Pollock. Just stood his ground, wins it back, works the 1-2 with Richardson, and Pollock lets the ball fly up towards Watkins, who wins his header against the defender, finds Miovski, and then the clip ball forward is Kai Rolls to nod back to his keeper under pressure from Marley Watkins, who won the first header there. That's something Duke doesn't give them really. 14.5 in, 0-0. Here come Hearts with Mackay looking to thread it through the eye of the needle for Shanklin, read well by McDonald, and now it's Barron for Aberdeen to Clarkson, and out to Johnny Hayes on the far side, charged down by Oda. He's going to try and keep it in play, and he's done just that, and he's got himself away from Hayes as well. Oda, he then overcooks it, and Leighton Clarkson pinches it off him and clears for Aberdeen. 0-0, almost on 15. Hearts though seeing a lot of the ball just in these last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a high tempo game though, isn't it? You know, and there's no way that this ball's going to stay still for any length of time. Both sides are very keen to get the action underway, which is great for us, great for the fans, and there's plenty of room out there to play football as well.
There's Cammy Devlin rolling it to Shanklin. He's in a little bit of space himself here. Out to Devlin again, and then to Oda, level with the Aberdeen penalty spot, takes a touch, crosses in, and then cleared by Ramadani, hooks it over his head whilst facing his own goal. And Miovski out muscling Peter Haring, but it breaks the way of Sibic, who rolls it back to Kai Rolls, who finds Atkinson over to the right. Goalless in this massive game, biggest game in the top 6, as Hayes loses out to Oda. He's in! Oda shoots, saved by the foot of Kellerus. Really important goalkeeping, and Johnny Hayes breathes a sigh of relief. The best chance of the game so far falls to Hearts, falls to Yutaro Oda, but he's beaten by Kellerus, the Dons keeper. He's been excellent recently. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0 on 16.
Massive opportunity there, and you can't criticise Oda for shooting, but Ginnelly standing in the middle. If he cuts it back, it's a tap in. As I said, you know, I would have shot, being honest, but his teammate standing in the middle, it's a roll across the 6-yard box, and Roos would have absolutely no chance.
100% correct, John. I mean, for me, it's just a square pass, isn't it? He's not a striker. I can't even say he's a typical striker, because I maybe can say he's a typical winger because he didn't think too much, but that was a wrong that was a wrong decision. If he squared that, I think it's a goal. I think it's a first goal for Hearts. It was a good save by Roos, absolutely, but a wrong decision.
He's just desperate to get his first goal, wasn't he, Oda? And that was probably playing on his mind as well when he hit the effort, as Mackay in the centre circle finds Devlin. But a momentum about Hearts right now. Oda collecting wide on the right, gets the cross in. Shanklin's too powerful for him to control, but he's managed to force it to Devlin, but brilliantly read by Leighton Clarkson, who rifles it clear, and it's gone over the head of Kai Rolls. Watkins will pick up, right hand side of the box. He's on his own at the moment. Miovski arriving, Watkins shoots, saved by Clark. He couldn't find the corner, he put it straight at the goalkeeper. Aberdeen's best attacking moment of the game so far. 0-0, 17 played.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, straightforward, long ball up to Watkins. He didn't have too many options, you know, he's looking up, Miovski's getting there, but he's marked as well. I thought he didn't have any other option but to take it on himself. It's a decent strike, isn't it, with his left foot, but it's straight, you know, at Clark in goal. And I think for me it's an easy take for him, but a good opportunity for Aberdeen, but just disappointing for you know, for Watkins. He didn't have more support. I think they've got to try and get up there much quicker to support him.
Worrying moment for Kai Rolls, that one, as the ball went over his head and he saw Watkins forced a little bit wide, which probably helped him regain his position. Watkins' only goal this season was a terrific finish cutting in from the other side at Tannadice. Aberdeen's third in that 3-1 win in March, as we take on to 18 minutes. 0-0, Hearts in possession with Shankland, left of the centre circle, popping it through to Ginnelly. Pollock's out of position. Ginnelly has it, he's got support from Mackay, uses them on the overlap. Low ball is cut out and cleared by Matty Pollock. A few optimistic shouts for handball from the Hearts supporters down below us in the wheatfield. Here's Cochrane to Haring. Haring's low ball forward to Devlin, who in turn rolls it out to Ginnelly on this near side. He's level with the Aberdeen D. On the Hearts left, taking on Richardson, who slides in, puts it behind for the corner. He's claiming it came off the Hearts man last. The Hearts keeping the pressure on here, and it will be a corner kick opportunity, their second of the afternoon. And John, they'll hope to make more of it than the last one.
Well, hopefully they'll put this one in, but yeah, fair play to Richardson. We said he may be a weak link. That's the first time someone was taking him on, and he reacted really well, and good defending. He didn't allow the cross to come in, but it's a very open game. There's nothing in it at all at the moment, and it's very enjoyable watch.
Mackay back to Cochrane. It's a clipped ball into the box. It's won by the Hearts head in the far side. Kai Rolls nodded half away. Shankland on the turn, scoops it over the bar. The former Aberdeen striker. And that is a goal kick to the visitors. 19 in, 0-0.
You maybe expect him to do a little bit better there. He's leaning back. It's an awkward one for him as it falls to him. He's got to try and manoeuvre and kind of make the opportunity for himself, but I think he's good enough to. I think he'll be looking at that chance. They'll be disappointed with it, John. Don't know what you think.
Yeah, it's a half chance, really, as you said. He's tried to swivel and hit it, and no, he's got underneath it. It's gone over, but the way he thinks about chances, yeah, he'll think it was a decent opportunity.
And I'll tell you what, you were talking about Richardson there. He has never defended like that. They've been working on him. You know, his body shape.
There's a chance for Aberdeen up the other end. Miovski looking for Clarkson, brilliantly defended by Atkinson on his 18-yard line to get it clear. Liam Scales rolling it forward. Clarkson at the edge of the box. His shot deflected up into the air by Haring. Watkins down Ramadani, and then Miovski, I think, would have been in an offside position anyway. Indeed, the flag goes up, but it's for a goal kick. 20 in, 0-0.
I think the game's probably a bit more open than Barry Robson would have wanted it, if I'm being honest so far. I think, you know, he's built it. He said it all the time, you can't be a good attacking team to a good defending team. But I think it's been very, very open, and I think you'll want it a wee bit tighter. But Aberdeen have been a threat in the break. We've expected that. They've lived up to reputation. Hearts, on the other hand, we know have to push. They're pushing, so I've been, as I say, I've enjoyed the opening 20 minutes. I think it's flew past, and there's been some good football, some decent chances, and a couple of good saves from each keeper.
It's two sides in extremely contrasting form. Hearts 1 win in 9, Aberdeen 1 defeat in 9. And it's Hearts, the home team, the onus on them. They're 5 points behind. They're the team in arrears as Haring gives it away straight to Hayes, who then slips, but it's a poor ball from him for Miovski, it really was, and it allowed Toby Sibic in to win it back for Hearts. Now it's Ginnelly on the halfway line to Shankland, chips it forward, looking for Sibic, who made a really good run forward, cut out by Pollock. Ramadani goes back to his keeper. 21 in, 0-0.
Wrong choice. I think he's got to go wide to Oda there.
Goalkeeper with a long ball. Miovski almost onto a long ball from Keller Roos. It's back with Xander Clark. John.
It was a good run from Sibic, but I thought Oda wide right was the opportunity there. It was a high risk, high tariff pass that Shankland tried there. It didn't come off, but again, it was a promise. Both teams are getting into very promising positions, just both lacking that final clinical pass.
Here's Miovski going down. The challenge from Rolls. The referee's happy with it again, though, as Watkins goes down, brought down inside the box, and this time it's the nodding head from the referee as Aberdeen claimed for a penalty, but he's happy that the ball was taken, and Hearts have got it away, and indeed Hearts have got a free kick out on this near side.
I'm just trying to work out, John, which dive did you prefer out of that, the 4 dives that we've just watched?
I thought the first 3 were excellent.
First 3 were
I would give them
7.6,
7.6.
I think Len would give them 10, eh?
I think they'll check the last one just to be sure. I think they'll be talking to each other at the moment. I think this is where VAR will help, because the last one, there might have been something there.
On Marley
there
Watkins.
might have been something on Marley Watkins. I think they're just chatting to each other to see, you know, and this is where VAR is good. We will get the right decision.
Well, let's see if we can go to Leanne, who's presumably seen a replay of it by now.
Yeah, I've seen it once there, Liam. Certainly there was a few promising dives before that. I would need to say there is marginal contact. For me, there's not enough for it to be a penalty. I'm sure Kevin Clancy will be getting a bit of feedback in his ear just now. I'm just getting another rerun of it here. Watkins actually does well. He looks to go and get his body in front. Do you know what? He's done really well. As a striker, he's done really well. The referees could view this as a penalty, if I'm being honest. But for me personally, it would be soft.
Well, there you go. We're just waiting here. The official check's underway, checking possible penalty foul on the big screens in the main stand over there in the Wheatfield here. Looks as though no penalty. The check's over. Hearts survive it. Little nervy moment for the home fans there. It's 0-0 on 23 and a half, just about.
That's a great call from Leanne. You know, she saw it there. As a football person, knows the game. Yes, it could have been. There's enough there of it. Yeah, the old Willie Collum one. The penalties are like eggs, hard or soft, they're still an egg. So Leanne's called it brilliantly.
He's nowhere. Where did the foul happen, or the supposed foul happen? It was right on the edge of the box, and Watkins is going away for goal. There is absolutely no goal scoring opportunity. If it's a marginal touch, it surely cannot be a penalty.
Yeah, of course, Hearts were the beneficiaries of a late penalty last week in Paisley. Ryan Flynn brought Ginnelly down when Ginnelly was going away from goal. I kind of feel that could cost St Mirren big time. As another challenge goes in on the far side. This time it's Ilba Ramadani on Devlin. Free kick Hearts, taken quickly. Here's Haring. Sweeps it right to left to the centre circle for Cochrane on 24 goalless minutes here at Tynecastle. He's found Mackay attacking the left angle of the box, steps in field. He's away from one, got away from a second. Eventually he squeezes the ball through. He slipped as he released it, and Liam Scales clears. Watkins giving chase. He's had a very good game so far, Marley Watkins. Really important role he has to play today. The Hearts fans on the far side felt he used a hand to control there as he goes down, and Aberdeen have got a free kick over on the left-hand touchline as Watkins goes head-to-head with Cammy Devlin. It doesn't take much to get Devlin going. Watkins yellow carded, so too Devlin. And that's going to be a free kick to Aberdeen over on that far side touchline, about level with the Hearts penalty spot.
I've got to say, from first look, very harsh booking for Watkins. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's won the foul, and then Devlin's gone and confronted him, not happy with something. Devlin then shoves him, and then Kevin Clancy takes the easy way out by yellow card in both of them. It's a nonsense.
We see it so often though, don't we, when situations like that occur and the referee does just book both players and just gets on with it. And well, everybody's not happy, everybody's happy. At the end of the day, the referee makes that decision. It was a definite free kick, and Watkins he's been excellent. He's given Aberdeen a different type of outlet.
He's quick, Willie. He's very, very quick. Whereas Duke is sharp and explosive. Marley's more of a...
He's mobile, he'll go, and he's intelligent as well, and he'll hold it up.
Very important player for Cally Thistle in that 2015 Scottish Cup final win, of course, as Aberdeen take the free kick. Clarkson, and it's fingertips from Clark just to get it away, and Pollock will let it go out for a throw-in on the reverse Wheatfield stand side, and that's a throw-in level with the Hearts penalty spot on the Aberdeen right this time. 0-0 it remains, 26 played. And look, just for a moment that was going to creep over Xander Clark.
Yeah, I thought he'd got underneath it, and he done well in the end to claw it away. And it's a nice game to watch, because both teams in the last third look like they can make something happen.
Richardson short throw into Ramadani, back to Richardson, looking for Richardson, but he's dinked it too hard and it goes behind for the goal kick to Hearts. So 26 and a half in, 0-0. Who's the happier manager, Willie Miller?
I think both will be happy enough with the game as it's going just now. I think as far as Stephen Naismith, and they've had a lot of possession, they've got themselves into threatening positions, they probably have more of the game. But from a Barry Robson point of view, I think these two strikers up top have caused the two central defenders of Hearts all sorts of problems at times, and he'll be delighted as well. So I think both will be relatively pleased with how the game's going. I'll tell you what, I'm delighted, and I'm sure the fans are as well. It's been a good game of football.
27 in, 0-0 at Tynecastle. It was 4-0 Hearts at half-time the last time Aberdeen were here. Marley Watkins did have the ball in the net that night. It looked like it was going to be 5-1, but it was ruled out after a VAR check. As that throw-in's taken short, Atkinson to Shanklin, back to Atkinson, Haring back to Sibic. He's under pressure though, Aberdeen closing him down really well. Here's Watkins, just gets stuck under his feet, but it falls favourably for Clarkson. Couldn't quite find Miovski with a low ball forward. It's cut out and out it goes on the far side. In fact, it's going to be another free kick, this time to Hearts. Atkinson was caught over on the far side. There's certainly, both sets of players are putting so much into this game. And it's not a dirty game. There's been a lot of fouls, a lot of free kicks, but it's not a dirty game by any stretch.
It's what's good about Scottish football. It's honest endeavour, there's intensity. Both sets of players, both sets of fans, both coaching staffs know the enormity of the match, and that's what's getting shown out there. No quarters being asked, no quarters being given. And I think Kevin Clancy could have used his experience a couple of times. Certainly in the Johnny Hayes incident, he could have had a quiet word and give him the benefit of the doubt and say, look, I'll let you away with that one, but don't do it again type thing. But the game's flowed lovely. It's flowed nicely. There's been a couple of half chances where players have not quite caught it. There's been a couple of solid saves from each keeper, and both teams' formation is causing the opposition problems when they're in possession.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Hearts are in possession just now. Oda to Atkinson, little back heel looking for Oda as Hayes clears, and he comes off the Hearts man and out for an Aberdeen throw-in over on that far side. The last 5 meetings, I mentioned this earlier, this season's meetings have been won by the home team. The last 5 have been won by the home team, and that is an outcome we've seen in this fixture in 13 of the last 15 head-to-heads. The only exception's been a couple of draws here last season and the one before, and 1-1s. It's generally the home team that wins this fixture. Scales takes the throw and flicked on by Miovski. Devlin's touch takes it into the centre circle for Alex Cochrane for Hearts. His pass forwards cut out by Ramadani, and out it goes for a Hearts throw in midway inside Aberdeen territory on this near side. 29 on the clock. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0. It's with Cochrane, who missed that game last week through suspension after the controversial red card against Celtic here in the game before, as Devlin finds Ginnelly, but Pollock steps in, puts his toe to it, and Aberdeen get it away. Atkinson slides in to deny Leighton Clarkson's pass as Sibic eventually goes back to his keeper with Johnny Hayes haring down on him. The Hearts fans shouting man on there, as Barron does well to find Ramadani. And then Scales across into the Hearts half for Clarkson. His pass is cut out, now it's with Atkinson. Short ball to Shanklin. He's been out-muscled, and Aberdeen have it back with Miovski over in the far side. Haring for company, Clarkson on the overlap. It's with Clarkson, plays it off Sibic. Ball's going out towards the corner flag, and eventually does go behind for Aberdeen's first corner of the afternoon. It comes bang on the half-hour mark, 0-0.
Well, they've plenty of threat going forward, Aberdeen at times. It's mostly on the breaks, mostly when Hearts are throwing an awful lot of players forward. They seem to just be quite content to leave their 2 centre-backs against the 2 strikers of Aberdeen as well. So that, gives the Dons an opportunity and plenty of space to take advantage of.
In swinging corner from Clarkson, it's pretty deep. Oh, it's headed in, it's a goal, it's Pollock! Matty Pollock bullets the header past Sander Clark and scores potentially one of the biggest goals in Aberdeen season. Gorgie Road End at Tynecastle, direct from the corner kick. Clarkson onto the head of Pollock, who scored against Hearts at Pittodrie. He's done it in the capital, and it's Heart of Midlothian 0, Aberdeen 1.
It's a very, very good delivery, isn't it? And Leighton Clarkson is more than capable of doing that. Watch them throughout this season deliver the ball, dangerous balls into dangerous situations. Pollock gets a little bit of space, and it's a simple goal for him. I'll leave John to speak about the Hearts goalkeeper on this occasion, but for Aberdeen, it's well delivered, well taken by the centre back, and it gives Aberdeen the breakthrough.
I'm sure Zander Clark will be disappointed. He had a warning. The last free kick, it was out near the corner flag. We thought he'd got underneath it. He managed to claw it away. It looked like he was going to do the same again. He's struggling to get there. This time he doesn't get there, and Willie's right. Pollock, all he has to do is direct it on target, and it's first blood to Aberdeen. It's huge because, as we've said at the top of the programme and during the game, this Aberdeen side, Liam, give very, very little away.
7 clean sheets in their last 9 matches is testament to that. Hearts have a throw-in on the far side. Matty Pollock's second Aberdeen goal, and both have come against Hearts. Actually a free kick for Hearts over there, and it's almost level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box as they look for immediate retaliation here. in this ding-dong for third. Hibs will feel they've still got a say in the matter. Cochrane's free kick headed away by Hayes. Atkinson can't control. Aberdeen were hitting on the counter before, they'll be able to do that and some now. Got something to defend, but here's Devlin coming out on top in that duel. Now it's out with Atkinson, back to Cammy Devlin. It's the break of the ball against Hayes, looks up, low ball cut out by Liam Scales. And it's picked up here by Clarkson, who drives it forward looking for Miovski. Kai Rolls is the covering player for Hearts, and he calmly, when facing his own goal, rolls it to his right, to the Hearts left for Barry Mackay. He's taking it for a run out to this near side across the halfway line. Against Watkins. Flipped ball forward, Ginnelly's in behind here. Ginnelly, brilliant back heel! Cochrane with a chance, it's blocked! Shankland's header saved, still alive! Cochrane over the bar, and goal kick it is! And Aberdeen survive, but what a chance for Alex Cochrane. If Hearts lose this game, he's going to be replaying that all night long. 33.5 on the clock. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1, but it really should be one apiece.
Well, you go back to the first incident. There's Cammy Devlin get to the byline. Poor decision. He tries to drive it across goals. That's where we're talking about the creativity. A little dink was required. Then we find it. Barry Mackay drifts into a beautiful position, slides it in behind Aberdeen back three. Great run from Ginnelly. Brilliant back heel. Cochrane just miscontrolled it, and that gave Kel Roos the chance to get out quickly and block it. It's another brilliant save from the header follow-up from Shankland.
Yep. And
then unfortunately the third one is just a blast and it's gone over. But you're right, what a massive opportunity that was for Hearts to hit back, and quickly.
They've had two really, really good chances. Yutaro Oda, and he should have squared for Ginnelly when the score was blank. And right there, Alex Cochrane and then Lawrence Shankland. Both with opportunities. Cochrane with a couple of bites at it. But Willie should really have been dispatching the first of those.
It's a touch, isn't it, Liam? You know, if he touches, all he has to do is get it under control. He fumbles a touch, it goes too far ahead of him. He looks uncertain. The body language tells us he's in an uncertain position. He's not confident about it, and then the chance is gone.
Chance for Hearts again. Shankland at the edge of the box with his back to goal, finds Atkinson. His effort on the turns blocked by Scales. Now it's Toby Civic out to Oda. Oda now finds Atkinson. Oda again to Atkinson at close quarters, rolls it to the edge of the D for Mackay. His efforts blocked, the break of the ball goes to Ginnelly, presses it back to Mackay, and his efforts blocked by Connor Barron. Brilliantly defended by Aberdeen there, and now it's Ramadani. Couldn't control it though. Haring pinches it off him on this near side. 10 to the break. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. It's Hearts pressing here though. Devlin slipping it through to Shankland, comes off his heel. He's still on the ball though as he tries to find Oda. He gets the break again, does Lawrence Shankland. He swipes it wildly wide and high, and it stays Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1 on 35.5 here in Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit frantic now. We know the pressure that's involved, we know what's required, and Shankland there just couldn't quite, cushion the pass into Oda. It was a bit rickety, and it ricocheted back, and he's had a flash at it. It's gone wide, but as I said, Aberdeen will put bodies on the line. They'll get blocks in. They're a very, very tough side to break down, and I was watching the bench when they broke away there. Agnew was going nuts because had Ramadani controlled it, Aberdeen had a 3-on-2, and that's the game plan. Barry's talked about transitions, counter-attacks in my day, and that's what Aberdeen are particularly good at.
Aberdeen have the lead here at Tynecastle. 9 minutes to play in this first half. Atkinson for Hearts, out to Oda on that right-hand side. Now he's driving towards the box, finds Ginnelly, he's got his back to goal. The edge of the area to Atkinson, to Ginnelly. Ginnelly then back to Devlin, back to Civic. First time to Rolls, left of the centre circle. He's in his own half, it's not a great ball. Richardson gets onto it now. Jayden Richardson driving forward. And then Mackay runs into Watkins. Richardson continues his run. Richardson's inside the penalty area, tries to dig out the cross. It's poor though, and it goes behind on the reverse side of the goal. 36.5 played. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1.
I think Marley Watkins is a lucky man because he's done it right in front of Kevin Clancy. We saw earlier on somebody taking him out. Now Kevin Clancy's going over and saying now he knows that Marley Watkins blocked, and he knows it was Marley Watkins, and he knows he would have to have sent him off. So I think Kevin Clancy's bottled that decision there, to be brutally honest.
It looked very, very deliberate, wasn't it? Was it? And Barry Mackay, as he was trying to get back, and Watkins has blocked him totally, taking him out of the game.
You saw him looking at it. You saw him looking at it.
Right in front of the referee.
Here's Ginnelly though for Hearts. Now Shanklin steps onto the right foot. He shoots. It's blocked again. Aberdeen living a charmed life right now. It's with Oda. He shoots. Saved by Kellaroos. And then headed half away by Pollock. Back in by Oda to Shanklin. Shanklin's forced wide, drives it across. He's done brilliantly well, but Richardson's there. And then Haring shoots it high over the bar, and he had so many options, and maroon and white ahead of him. And that is a goal kick, and it's Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. As we approach 38 minutes, Willie, I was going to say there's only so long Aberdeen can withstand this right now, this last-ditch defending, but they've got used to defending in recent weeks.
It's a habit that they've grown into. Absolutely, under Barry Robson, and they seem quite confident that they can keep the ball out the back of the net, whether it's by blocks or whether it's by another good save, from that Oda strike. But what's that? 3 attempts there. Shanklin had the first one, then Oda, and then and it's all about getting bodies in front of the ball. Yeah, they're riding their luck a little bit, people would say, but they've done it on so many occasions under Barry Robson that it's now becoming a habit, and they're quite comfortable and confident in going back there and throwing their bodies in front of it and managing to block anything that's been thrown at them.
We've spoken of this before, Willie. Sometimes everybody goes on about attacking play. Defending is an art. Defends it, and that's what Aberdeen, with the 3 central defenders in particular, couple of bodies in front of them, they're throwing their bodies there because they know if it gets past them, they've got a very, very competent keeper as well. They enjoy defending. They actually enjoy defending.
They celebrate it.
Kai Rolls does well against Miovski. Looked as though he was in trouble for a second there, as it's played out for a throw-in to Hearts by a Hearts player off an Aberdeen player. And that's going to be a throw-in to the home team midway inside their own half, over on the main stand side. Over there. And it's Atkinson who takes it. Header from Barron forward towards Miovski. Miovski on the turn. He had his legs whipped away from him by Devlin there. He'll do well not to argue with Kevin Clancy, given he too's on a caution. We are approaching the final 5 minutes of a really energetic, entertaining first half at Tynecastle. Aberdeen have the edge right now. Realistically, Hearts need to score 2 unanswered goals from this point onwards to keep the race for third alive. You feel a draw's not enough for them. 5 points going into the last 2 games, with a trip to Ibrox, where Rangers haven't lost domestically this season. As Clarkson leaves it for Hayes, and it comes a diving header wide from Pollock, and it's a goal kick. There might be a flag for offside in any case, but that's a similar situation there, Willie, to the one at Pittodrie that Matty Pollock scored. The ball came into the penalty area and he dived almost knee high to get his head onto it. Yeah,
it's about timing though in that occasion. I think he's just off a little bit too early for it. Again, it's a great delivery into the box. Aberdeen set pieces under Barry Robson been pretty good. Good quality delivery and timing of it, and Pollock sliding to get the header on it, but as I said, just perhaps taking it a little bit too early, a little bit too anxious to get into the position.
Pollock getting there ahead of Ginnelly as he launches it forward. Kai rolls underneath it. 40.5 on the clock. 1-0 to Aberdeen. Haring holding off Clarkson. Couldn't find Oda though. It's gone straight to Scales. Scales chops back onto his left-hand side. He's got a runner forward in Hayes, but it's cut out by Atkinson. Now Scales is out of position. Haring though's given it away straight to Clarkson. He clips it forward looking for Miovski. What a ball it was. Miovski's in. He's gone down as he tried to get the ball under control. Bit innocuous. There wasn't a foul on him as he tries to get back to his feet now, and Hearts have it, and they're away on a counter themselves with Barry Mackay. Beyond the midway point of the Aberdeen half. Squares it to Haring. 41 on the clock. Hearts looking for a leveller before the interval. Atkinson passing it back to Peter Haring. And into the centre circle for Kai Rolls. Rolls it out to Cochrane on the near side. Low ball infield to Mackay on the spin away from Barron into the box. His low ball's cut out by Barron. And out it goes for a Hearts throw-in level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line on this near side. Aberdeen have looked a threat as well up the other end. The 2 centre-backs for Hearts look quite panicky at times. Toby Sivic and Kai Rolls. Long balls have been awkward for them. And it is Hearts who are doing the attacking here with Cochrane's throw into Shankland. The left angle of the box. Shankland back to Cochrane. Cochrane then steps in field. He's away from Richardson. Passes it back to Devlin. And he squares it to Atkinson. Midway inside Aberdeen territory. Rolls it with the left along the deck out to Yataro Oda. Oda level with the edge of the D. And now a chance for Atkinson, his right-hand side of the penalty area. Low ball comes back, it's going to drop Richardson's way. Cochrane thought just for a moment that was going to come to him as Aberdeen clear. And it's come all the way through to Xander Clark. You're hearing an applause in the background. David Stewart, he was a huge Hearts fan who passed away and left a wife and 3 children as well. Absolutely tragic. And the Hearts fans are paying tribute. They've got a banner over on the far side in the main stand as well for him as Ginnelly shoots. Oh, what a goal! Josh Ginnelly scores! A quite magnificent equaliser. There was absolutely nothing Kelarouche could do about that one as Ginnelly from the left-hand side of the penalty area finds the postage stamp right-hand top corner, and Hearts equalise crucially before half-time. Heart of Midlothian 1, Aberdeen 1, and there is a tribute for the young man who lost his life.
I was just going to say there, maybe David Stewart was looking down there, Liam, because it was in the midst of that magnificent ovation for him that Josh Ginnelly has absolutely thundered a strike into the postage stamp. Kelarouche has absolutely no chance. It was needing something special from Hearts. They've got something special, and I believe they deserve to be on level terms. This sets it up really, really well for the second half.
I mean, Aberdeen can defend as well as they like. You're not stopping that one, Willie.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. That is striking at the highest quality, you know, just as it's coming up to half-time. What a time to get it as well. Josh Ginnelly coming in from the left-hand side, gets it on his right foot, looks up, and it couldn't have been placed more perfectly into that top corner. Kelarouche diving for it, no chance whatsoever. It was a rocket too. Normally these ones are a little bit, you know, gentler, more cultured. This just flew with a little bit of curl on it into the most perfect postage stamp that you could have picked.
I think this season has produced some of the best goals we've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, there's been wonderful goals all over the place, but I tell you what, that's pumped up the atmosphere now. The Hearts fans were just starting to get quiet. The Northern Lights were belting out from the Aberdeen fans, but this place has, like Ginnelly's shot, exploded.
Cochrane's in the box, shoots, taking a deflection wide for a corner. Well, Aberdeen could be doing with a half-time whistle here, Willie. 1-1, brilliant again from Hearts.
Yeah, I think that's what you're looking at, you know, another opportunity there. Aberdeen just trying to control the situation, trying to get through to half-time. That's what they need to do as far as they're concerned, because, you know, that goal, that magnificent goal from Josh Ginnelly has given this crowd a lift, and the players out there a lift as well.
In comes the corner, it's headed away from the 6-yard line. Breaks the way of Devlin. 2 minutes have been added at the end of the first half. We're into the first of them. 1-1, here's the Hearts goal hero, Ginnelly. He's found Shankland. He's got his back to goal now, he's facing it, looking for the curler into the corner. He's put it from where we are. We can see it's a good yard or two wide of that far post, and it stays. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
He's getting closer. It wasn't really threatening. To say we've got the perfect view. It's a couple of yards wider, but the ominous thing for Aberdeen is Shankland starting to set his sights, and that bodes well for the second half. But my goodness me, what a time. What a goal to score first and foremost. What a time to score. This place is now bouncing, and as I say, if the second half is the same again, what a football match we can look forward to.
John, it's just fantastic, isn't it? It's where these two clubs have to be, you know, contesting there. OK, behind Rangers and Celtic, hopefully next season, making it perhaps a lot more difficult for the Old Firm. But it's really, really important for Scottish football generally that you've got Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen challenging at the top. And this has been an example of what we're expecting from these two teams.
You're taking that a bit far with Hibs there, Willie. Come on.
OK, sorry,
yeah, settle down, Willie.
I'm sorry, Hibs fans. Sorry.
I was forgetting where I was.
The first time you've apologised to the Hibs fans. We're heading towards the break here. Yeah, I mean, the points gap between the top two and the rest is obviously huge. But when you look, Celtic, goal difference, plus 77. Aberdeen in third, -1. I mean, that is just an incredible statistic. Hearts are plus, but they are only +5. It's +5's the next best. After Rangers, Celtic well ahead, obviously. It's McDonald heads forward and Watkins gets a flick onto it. Now it's with Kai Rolls on this near side. I make it, we've played the 2 minutes of stoppage time as Hearts come forward with Mackay. He's going to let this attack go. Mackay, Ginnelly takes the touch to the byline. Is that a handball? Is that a handball against Angus MacDonald? The Hearts fans think so. Corner's been given.
It's hit his hand, but it's in a perfectly natural position.
Supporting arm.
He slid in, he slid in. And there's nowhere else. Did it hit his arm? Of course it did. But there's nowhere else his arm can possibly be now. I'd love nothing more if VAR overturned it here, but I can't see how you could possibly get out the way there.
Well, the corner's going to be taken. There's no suggestion that it's going to be overturned, but here's a Hearts chance. In comes the corner, flicked away to the edge of the box. It's Devlin, and he gives it away. It's now with Clarkson. We played almost a full minute on top of the 2 that were added, and Kevin Clancy blows the half-time whistle. A really entertaining first half it's been, as these two slug it out for the best of the rest tag, which could come with around about £5 million worth of riches. European group stage football, the lot, everything that comes with it. Something that Hearts had this season, something they want again. To get it, you feel they have to win this one, and they've put themselves back in a position to do that, having fallen behind to Matty Pollock's header from the Clarkson corner just after the half-hour mark. Really good delivery by Clarkson. Clark would want another go at it, the Hearts keeper, but Pollock was there to bullet home his second Aberdeen goal. They've both come against the maroon and white half of the capital, and Aberdeen were defending pretty well. A little bit last ditch at times. Kellaroos with a few really important saves. Josh Ginnelly, Alex Cochrane, Lawrence Shanklin all spurning really good opportunities, but Josh Ginnelly conjured up a moment of magic just with about 2 minutes of the regulation 45 to play, and he has smashed home a goal of the season contender from the left angle of the box just about, and arrowed it in past Kellaroos into that top right corner to draw Hearts back level. They probably will feel they deserve to be at least level in the game. They've had the better of it, they've had the better of the opportunities. Aberdeen have had chances too though, and it sets up a really exciting and important 45 minutes to come here at the capital. Half time, it is Heart of Midlothian 1, Aberdeen 1.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, we gave today, Leanne Crichton, the big build-up, some huge gains, and so far, Tynecastle is delivering. It's been sensational stuff.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, what a first half of football. Hearts for me have been the better side. They've certainly dominated the stats. You know, that's plain and clear to see, but they look like they've got a bit more about them, more energy middle to front. They look a real threat. The amount of times that Aberdeen, to their credit, have thrown bodies in front and blocked shots, denied opportunities, last-ditch defending, which I'm sure Willie Miller is absolutely loving, that element and that desire to defend. But it's credit to Hearts in the way that they've played in this opening half. They were probably unfortunate to go behind, albeit you know, Matty Pollock does really well in attacking the header. Hearts, from a defensive perspective, it's a poor goal. I'm sure Tony Sibic won't want to watch it back.
That because the guys wouldn't have had a clear view of that.
No, he was soft. He was actually picking up Matty Pollock at the corner as the ball comes in. He kind of loses flight of it. He ends up, he's facing his own goal. Matty Pollock's behind him, and he's got his two arms around Matty Pollock, almost trying to defend him with his back to him. It was just really naive, and Pollock got his eyes on the ball the whole time, catches the flight of it, does really well to get on the end of it and gave Aberdeen the advantage. But to Hearts' credit, they kept at it, they kept asking questions. I'm just looking on the screen just now, some replays of Kellaroos making a number of big saves as well, with a lot of Aberdeen shirts in front of him, and the moment of absolute brilliance from Josh Ginnelly is outrageous. The technique is phenomenal. Absolutely, you've got to tune in to Sports Scene tonight and see it. It's up there with one of the best goals this season. Liam touched on that in commentary. The technique, the power, the pace, the precision, it's absolute class.
A real pleasure, John Robertson, to be at games like this. It's a terrific advert for Scottish football.
Yes, it's everything that's good about our game. It's intense, it's passionate, there's great technical skill, there's great intensity and work rate from each side. It's everything you want. Willie's talked about it, the big guns in Scottish football. You know, Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs, the Dundee United. You want them up there performing and producing games like this. That first half has flown by, and I think Leanne and Liam called it properly. The stats will tell you Hearts have been on top, probably more possession, more shots at goal, more shots on target. But I'll tell you what it doesn't show you is the big threat that Aberdeen are on the break. They really are. There's been one or two times they broke where the pass just didn't quite get there, or it fell behind somebody. But there's no doubt Hearts would have felt very, very hard done by had they gone in at half-time a goal behind. Such is this place that gets to you and it sucks you in. When they equalised, they nearly went in front. You know, to go on 1-1, Steve Naismith would have been delighted, given the way the first half had gone. Then Cochrane nearly scored right on the half-time whistle. So it sets up the second half brilliantly. And as I was saying on commentary there, Shankland's getting closer and closer. I think he will still have the defining say and the defining moment in the second half.
Yeah, Robbo's bang on, Willie, in terms of the stats. 71% possession for Hearts. Looking at the shots, 17 for the home side, 6 for the away side, 6 on target for Hearts, 3 on target for Aberdeen. It's been such an open and entertaining game.
Well, as I thought Aberdeen would be a little bit more defensive. I know that they've been pushed back, but early in the game, first 10-15 minutes or so, the two wing backs were pushed right up into the Hearts half. Since then, Hearts have taken control of the game. First 10 minutes, I thought Aberdeen looked as though you know they could perhaps dominate it, but no, it's been a first half for Hearts, and Hearts are very unfortunate to go in at half time, you know, just level. You know, I agree with John. I think the way Hearts play, though, they leave their two centre backs pretty much isolated, and Aberdeen are just playing with the two up top as well. So it's 2v2. When you get that, you know, situation, or you know what you've got then, and when you've got space either side of the two centre backs as well, then Aberdeen can take advantage of that. I think Watkins has been very lucky indeed. Don't know, Leanne, did you get a viewpoint on the block that he did after getting booked? It was right in front of the referee. We thought that it might have deserved a yellow card.
Yeah, I
think
did
he's been
see
very good.
Willie,
yeah.
if I'm honest, and I listened to you guys in commentary, he's been cute. He's absolutely, he's played the block, but how many times at corner kicks and stuff do you see that happen? Constantly, and you never see a yellow card. Do you know, it's not something. I think the referee probably did the right thing, had a word. It was pretty blatant. But for me, if you start booking those types of things like that, corner kicks, you're working it all the time, you look to try and get the block in, you try and free up the runner. Those types of things in football, we cannot lose those bits. Intelligence is what I would look at. But for me, Kevin Clancy got that right. I wouldn't have liked to have seen a second yellow for that personally.
And just one other question. Kenny, one other question. No, well, the penalty I didn't think it was, but and I think we've discussed that. But the goalkeeper, Xander Clark, for the corner, what is he doing? Did he not come out and miss the judgment of the ball as well? And if he's not on his line, does he not have an opportunity to save the header?
I think he was frustrated. You could see his reaction, Willie, after it. I think he does believe that he could have done better, certainly. But
yeah, I think
the cluster of bodies in front of him, I don't think helps, and the fact that nobody really deals with the aerial threat of Pollock either. As I'm saying, I think Sibic gets it completely wrong and actually just puts himself in the way of people, and doesn't win the header, doesn't get first contact, doesn't stop Pollock winning the header either. But I could see that the camera kind of panned to Xander Clark after it, and he was certainly shaking his head and looked as if he probably felt aggrieved at himself.
I think the first half, though, Kenny, it's football that's the winner here this afternoon. It's been magnificent entertainment. It's been open, although Aberdeen have made it really difficult for Hearts. But whenever they get the opportunity, they will throw bodies forward and they try to get forward. It's not just a case of sitting in their own penalty box, but they've been very, very fortunate. But it's a habit that they seem to be comfortable with. You know, that three very strong centre backs, the three in front of them, you know, making it really difficult for the opposition to find any kind of a space at all. But as that have kind of and certainly since the goal went, and I know that there was only a few minutes to go before half time, but Hearts really believed that they could open up that Aberdeen defence. I'm looking forward to the second half. I think it's going to be something special.
Absolutely, and Willie's bang on. Football is a winner here, Lee, and I've been trying to do some notes for later on. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening in sports. I mean, you just can't take your eyes off this. You know, we've got the guys in commentary, we've got the pictures here in the studio. It's terrific stuff. I'm wondering then, from both managers' point of view, Leanne, so for Barry Robson, what will he be talking to players about? Where are the areas of concern?
Well, I think for me, he probably needs to try and stop Hearts higher up the pitch. I don't think you can keep absorbing the amount of pressure that they've been absorbing. You spoke about those kind of final third entries, shots inside the box, shots on target. John mentioned Lawrence Shankland. He's yet to probably just have that moment yet, a clear-cut opportunity. And if Lawrence Shankland gets a clear-cut opportunity, very rarely passes it up. So I think Barry Robson, you want to look maybe being a bit more aggressive. I'm looking at the graphic in front of me that shows you kind of average positions across that opening 45 minutes, and the game's been played in the Aberdeen half. Hearts are literally hemming them in, and I know John touched on again the threat that Aberdeen carry in that counter-attack, but to me at times that looks a little bit dysfunctional today because you don't have Duke, you don't have that asset in terms of his electrifying pace and the physicality that he's got, so it looks a bit different, albeit you could play in the counter. I don't think it's as fluid as we've seen from Aberdeen. So me personally, and I think Barry Robson, looking at that half, his side probably could have gone in behind at half time based on opportunities. So go and try and be a bit more aggressive. Can you gain a bit more territory, which is a tough thing to go and do at Tynecastle anyway. Stephen Naismith, I think he'll be quite pleased with how his side have performed and the fact that they managed to get themselves level. I think he would have been disappointed going in at half time 1-0 down, having given as much to the game and as much energy as they have. And just to get back to that Josh Ginnelly goal as well, off the back of that moment, the minute's applause for the fan that sadly passed away. What a moment in football.
Yeah.
Honestly, the emotion that football brings, but for the stadium to have gone for that moment's applause into that moment of elation was just brilliant to see it on the TV.
Yeah, and a fantastic tribute there, from both sets of fans, and a very, very special goal, John, from Josh Ginnelly. Leanne was talking about pace there in terms of Duke. Ginnelly's such an interesting story. For a long time it looked like his career at Hearts was over, and I guess you'll have seen this through the years, John, where guys just find something. He is now a key player for Hearts.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a forward, he's got your first asset that you want, and in the modern days, very, very quick. And you look at Aberdeen's main threat this season, Duke, exactly the same. He's got pace to burn. It's difficult for him today because Aberdeen are sitting deeper and there's 3 defenders there, so it's difficult for him to get in behind. But he wanders out here, and that's what I'm saying, is he can play in the wider areas. He's quick enough to play down the right or down the left, but everything, as I say, and listeners must tune into Sports Scene tonight, because just to watch this moment, if there's nothing else that happens all day, it was worth it for that moment. As I say, we were 3/4 of the way through, a minute's applause to David Stewart, and Josh Ginnelly thumps it, and I mean an absolute screamer into the postage stamp, and it's unbelievable emotions that we're saying, we talk about, and that epitomises some players what happens. He looked out under Robbie Nielsen, didn't look as if he was going to be. He was a bit part player. He was maybe what Marley Watkins has been for Aberdeen this season. He's getting brought on late in games when the match is very over, not getting much time to claim, and then suddenly he's found something, and he's been the striker that's allowed Lawrence Shankland to float about. A lot of Hearts fans don't like it to begin with. They wanted Shankland up there as a number 9, plays the striker, get him in the box more often. But his pace, especially in away matches, gets Hearts up the pitch, causes all sorts of problems, and we've seen over the past few months, some of the goals he's scored have been tremendous. But I don't think in this young man's career he could possibly have struck a better one than that. It was an absolute rocket, arrowed into the top corner, and if there's a little Spider family there resting between the bar and post, I'm sorry, I think he's wiped it out.
A nature report as well. What an afternoon.
I'm just looking again here, sorry Kenny, at the replay, which was the shout for handball just towards the end of the half there. It come off the arm of McDonald. It was the supporting arm, but it's incredible how much we've spoke this season. Laws of the game, supporting arm.
See, I need to tell the listeners, when you're talking that, your hands are kind of over your head going. It's been such a difficult thing for us this season, this handball rule, hasn't it?
Do you know what? Every single Hearts player appeals, right? Yep. They know it's a supporting arm. They know it's not going to be a penalty. Every Hearts fan behind that goal is up. The whole stadium's up, and I just think the referees really don't stand a chance, do they? Because
I would hate it.
Clancy's looked at it and went, supporting arm, no penalty, and the reaction tells you penalty. It should be, and then you're going to yourself, is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? Thankfully, that wasn't a penalty, rightly so.
You're in VAR duty for us again this afternoon. We've got an open all mics for big games to bring you on Sports Sound from 3 o'clock, and then that playoff at 5:15. That will determine who plays in the Championship next season. Fans of various clubs lined up to phone in from around 5:30. Some music on there as well, Leanne. From that first penalty shout, I have seen some pundits saying that it should have been given as a penalty, that early shout. So What was your take on that?
Well, as I said in commentary when I came in, for me, there was contact. I personally think that Marley Watkins, the only thing he was looking for was contact, leaving the box. It was the only advantage he was trying to gain, and I don't mean that disrespectful that I'm calling Marley Watkins a cheat, but I think he's looked to try and get his body in front. I think it was Peter Haring that makes the challenge, who probably rides his luck. It would have been really soft for me had it been given. You probably compare it to the Curtis Main one where you're running outside the box and you're just looking for that type of contact. But listen, there would have been referees again given a second chance to go and look at that today, that I reckon over the course of the season, from what we've seen, you would have seen a penalty awarded.
Well, thankfully the big talking points today revolve around the quality, the action we've seen on the park. It's been absolutely terrific. So let's get back to our commentary team for second half action from Tynecastle. It's Hearts against Aberdeen with John Robertson, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Well, we saw the derby at Ibrox last week. There's an Edinburgh derby on the final day of the league season, but this is the biggest game in the top six, the biggest head-to-head. Hibs will have a say in it as well. They host Rangers tomorrow, midday kick-off live on Sunday Sports Sound. They could be doing with one of these teams. Well, Aberdeen not winning this one certainly would not be impossible, but it would be an extremely difficult one for the High Beast to pull back at that point. Hearts have to win and hope Aberdeen don't beat St Mirren in midweek, which would take them to a 2-point gap going into the last day should they fail to win at Ibrox, which would clearly be a game changer if Hearts were to win that one when it comes to the race for third. It's the home team who get the second half underway, looking to continue where they left off. Maroon shirts, white shorts, maroon socks, left to right, shooting towards Gorgie Road in this second half, as they tend to do in the second 45 of games. Here, Aberdeen towards the Roseburn where their fans are, 600 of them, off in the segregated right-hand side of the stand over there, as Toby Sibbick picks up. No changes to either teams, a fairly benign day conditions-wise. Anything but benign on the pitch, though, as Devlin leaves it for Atkinson, and out with Odan Hart starting the second half on the front foot, having been on the front foot for large spells in that first half. Hayes with the challenge on Oda. Oda's won it back off him though, he's done well. Pulls it back to Atkinson, level with the 6-yard line, into the box for Devlin, snapshot across, and it comes skipping off the head of Ginnelly and wide for a goal kick. If he's facing the other way, he's nodding it into an empty net. And it's the first Hearts chance in the first minute of the second half, 1-1.
Yes, just his body positioning. He's a bit square there, as you say. If he gets side on, he might just have been able to get that back. It's probably just a little bit too high for him, but again, Hearts have started on the front foot. They finished the half strongly. They've started the half strongly, and they need to, because they need to get ahead of this Aberdeen side.
I think Johnny Hayes has to take note. I think that's the third occasion where he's been caught in the byline or close to the touchline when Oda has robbed the ball off him and put himself into a really good position to cause Aberdeen problems. So I think, Johnny's a captain. He's more a forward-thinking player, but on these occasions you've got to take into consideration what's actually happening and just keep it nice and simple. Put it out for a throw-in and allow your team to get back and get organised.
Good build-up by Hearts. This Devlin's gone down. He's wanting a free kick. He's going to get it as well. Kevin Clancy seemed to take a while to make up his mind. There he is. One of those referees. He's a bit more kind of slow movement as he made his way to the incident, but it's a Hearts free kick which they've taken quickly out to Oda on this near side. Haring in the midfield, back to Sibbick. Clark in goal for Hearts. Atkinson, Sibbick, Rolls and Cochrane. Haring and Devlin. Oda, Shanklin, Ginnelly, Mackay. Aberdeen have Roos in goal. It's Pollock, McDonald and Scales. Richardson and Hayes wide. Barron, Ramadani, Clarkson, Miovski and Watkins. There's Watkins in position and in possession over on the far side. Rolls it infield to Ramadani, and then out it comes wide for Pollock of the Hearts box. Gets his cross in. It's headed away by Atkinson. Really good header against Miovski, and he's got the bonus of finding Oda, who's found Shanklin. He goes across halfway. Barry Mackay's in a wonderful position on the opposite side, but Shanklin's robbed, and it's Scales who has it, and Matty Pollock's able to get back into position. There's Clarkson slipping it through behind the defender for Hayes. Early low ball into the box is cleared by Kai Rolls, and now it's with Haring on the near side, charged down by Clarkson. Haring's just a little bit off it today as Devlin picks up midway inside his own half, up towards halfway for Ginnelly, the Hearts goal scorer. 48 on the clock, 3 into the second half. It remains 1-1. as Cochrane rolls it out to Barry Mackay on that far side. Infield to Ginnelly. Ginnelly, he's been Hearts' star man today, and he dances away from Ramadani. Now he's up against Richardson wide on the left. Only really Shanklin hit in the middle. Plays it short to Mackay. Takes a touch, clips the ball in towards Atkinson's, headed away by Scales. Clarkson with a little flick, but it breaks to Devlin. Now it's Sibic. Low ball to this right-hand side for Oda. Sibic's going on an overlap here. Oda uses him as the decoy through the legs of Watkins. It takes a touch off Watkins though, and that helps Connor Barron out as Watkins drives it away, but it's deflected or blocked by Atkinson. Favourably for Jaden Richardson, who plays it forward to Miovski, holding off his man, but the referee obviously feels it was a flailing arm there, and Miovski not only gives away the free kick, but he's also been yellow carded by referee Clancy. 49 on the clock, 1-1.
I'm not so sure about it. I think it's a natural movement. Yeah, he catches the Hearts player, and I think maybe in the chin, maybe the neck with his hand. But I think it's out there for balance. I don't think it's done in any purposeful way.
He knows there's a challenge coming, Willie. So
yeah.
He's put his arm out to expect a challenge, and it's very soft.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, yeah, give a foul. Yellow card? Yeah, not for me.
Nope.
Free kick taken by Rolls along the halfway line to Haring. Now to Devlin in the centre circle to Haring. Back to Devlin and then to Sibic. So with a hush descending around Tynecastle. Stakes are huge. It's Barry Mackay forward looking for Ginnelly. Well read by Barron, who slides in. Now it's Pollock back to Connor Barron on the turn. Barron moving in field, leaves it for Clarkson. Clarkson playing it forward for Miovski. Now he's up against Kai Rolls wide on the right. Aberdeen have players forward here. If Miovski can find one of them, into the box, too high for Johnny Hayes. Sails over his head, and it bounces off the corner flag and behind for a goal kick to Hearts. 1-1.
To be perfectly honest, he's in there too early, Johnny Hayes. You know, you've got Watkins there. He's almost partnering Watkins. See if he stays out a little bit. He's walking onto that. Another magnificent through pass though from Clarkson. When you watch Clarkson play, the control he's got, the vision he's got, the weight of pass was just perfect down that right-hand side for Miovski. Not the best of crosses from the striker, but I just thought Johnny Hayes in too early.
By Rolls with a header, cross halfway, Barron's underneath it. Watkins beaten to it by Atkinson. Sibic clears, cushion header from McDonald to Hayes. First time scoops it forward. Sibic has it though, but he's given it to Watkins, who finds Clarkson, who finds Watkins. Clarkson's gone down. Aberdeen play on with Watkins down the left. Holding off Sibic, rolling it into the box here for Clarkson, left-hand side, and wins Aberdeen the corner off Devlin. It's Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1 on 51.
Good little spell for Aberdeen, and I was saying it earlier, Willie, we talk about quality players. Clarkson, I saw him at County for the first time, up close person, magnificent passing. He's the type of player I'd love to see in the Hearts team, because I think that's the last piece of the jigsaw Hearts are missing, a really clever midfield player who can see a pass, has vision and can play that quality.
No chance.
Like Clarkson.
There's the unknown Liverpool player to take the corner towards the back post. Pollock wins the header again. It's gone behind off him though for a goal kick. The Aberdeen fans behind the goal there felt that was a corner. Xander Clark takes the goal kick very quickly, looking for Ginnelly, being marshalled by Richardson. Comes off Ginnelly's knee. Richardson will leave it for Hayes. Sticks it out to this near side. Ginnelly tries to stick with him. Hayes as well, clears, finds Scales as well. Liam Scales plays it forward, but rather aimless, though Miovski might get onto it. Xander Clark has to come a long way from his goal to get it away. The Hearts fans are asking why Toby Sibic didn't deal with that. Here's Ramadani for Aberdeen. Oh, brilliantly done by Oda. Wins it back off him. Oda then hauled down by Ramadani. That'll be the latest yellow card. And it goes to the Albania international. And that will be a free kick to Hearts almost at the midway point of the Aberdeen half on 52. 1-1.
I think you called it there. Why Xander Clark has to come 40 yards from his goal line to clear that. Toby Sibic, keeper stay in his box, just roll it back. Aberdeen, Miovski's made a half-hearted effort to get across, not thinking he's got any chance, then suddenly he nearly got there.
Hearts take the free kick short and low out to Atkinson on this near side, infield to Oda. He shoots deflected as well, I think, corner. It's just flashed past that right-hand post. Kelarus was struggling to get down there. Does that look like it might be arrowing into the bottom right corner? Hearts corner, 1-1 on 52.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that they're making a habit of it, but it's a dangerous situation to be in when you're sitting in your 6-yard line, really, there. It takes a deflection, could easily end up in the back of the net. It's a good strike by Oda, and very fortunate Aberdeen to see that one whiz by the post.
Short corner, Cochrane and Oda, and then it's scooped into the box. Haring wins the header, but it's a comfortable take for Kelarus at the near post there. As the Aberdeen goalkeeper goes down as Shanklin stepped across him, or maybe it was the goalkeeper who was doing that. As Scales picks up, and now it's Barron who fires it out into the feet of Clarkson on this near side. He rolls it back to Scales. I think Hearts were struggling to find a place in the team for Yutaro Oda. He looks really comfortable on this right-hand side as a right winger, as opposed to a centre forward, which is what he was brought to the club to play in.
I think he can play right across that three, Liam. You know, even where Shanklin's playing, you know, Hearts could quite easily put Shanklin up front, Ginnelly wide right, play Oda off the front, Barry Mackay up front. There's a lot of flexibility in that Hearts front four, and maybe sometimes they should rotate that a little bit more, just to give Aberdeen something different to think about in particular, because they say they're all very adaptable players.
Barham with the challenge in Atkinson, but it's the Hearts player who gets the break of the ball. Now it's with Devlin out to the aforementioned Oda. 54 minutes, 1-1. Here's Oda attacking the Aberdeen box, skipping towards the D. An Aberdeen player slips as it's passed back to Haring, whose shot's blocked by Miovski. Breaks Devlin's way. His attempted cross is cut out by Clarkson. Here is Haring for Hearts. Now Cochrane out to the left-hand side for Mackay. Richardson comes to meet him. Barry Mackay taking on Richardson, gets the ball into the area. Shanklin does well, rolls it back to Oda, but breaks down on the penalty spot. And Aberdeen are able to get it away, though Ramadani's gifted it straight back to Devlin. Devlin at the edge of the box can't resist the shot, which is blocked by Hayes. So many of those today. Hearts shots blocked by Aberdeen defenders as it goes out for a throw-in on this near side to the hosts.
Yeah, well, he said it, it's a dangerous game. Yes, they're good at defending it and we've given them plaudits, but I don't think you can give Hearts that many chances. It's something I've said, the aforementioned Lawrence Shanklin, if one drops to him in that area, they could pay heavily for it.
Oh, down the near side level with the Aberdeen 18, back to Atkinson, stabs it back to Haring. Haring then rolls it to the edge of the centre circle for Kai Rolls. Everyone bar Xander Clark in the Aberdeen half here. 10 minutes into the second half, one apiece. Cochrane gets the cross in, Shanklin's there! And Shanklin scores! Hearts top scorer against his old club! Does it yet again! Smashing it home into the top corner from close range for goal number 27! And how big could that one be? Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1!
Massive goal. It's another brilliant finish. And that's what Shanklin's all about. We talked about it. He was getting closer and closer. My only worry is, has he gone too early? That's it. I think he's offside. I'm watching that. This could be looked at by VAR. I hope I'm wrong here, but it looked very, very tight with the fullback and Shanklin. It's a brilliant finish.
Let's find out. Let's go to Leanne.
It looks tight, Liam. Yeah, I'll agree with Robbo. I've just seen it back once there, and it looks to me like he's gone just a fraction early. But sometimes when you look at this, the naked eye deceives you. Once you get the lines on it and you freeze it, you've got a toe, you've got a foot, you've got a heel or a shoulder. That makes a difference. It'll be interesting to see what it is, but it does look as if Lawrence Shanklin's gone just marginally early.
Oh, that would be a big anti-climax for the Hearts fans who've just stopped celebrating. Now they realise there's a check going on and a stoppage. Aberdeen have Leighton Clarkson waiting to take centre.
It's tight, as I say. We just saw it on the big screen there briefly, and I hope I'm wrong.
It's a brilliant run, though, isn't it?
It's a brilliant. He's got across the defender. It's a brilliant finish, and we've said, Willie.
He's given it.
It's goal. Yes.
Goal stands.
Wow.
He must just be on. Shanklin roars at the Hearts fans, and they've come from behind to lead a game they simply have to win. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
You know, as a defender there, it was Liam Scales. You've got to get in front of the striker. The minute he gets that little chink of light, that little bit of space as Shanklin did get, then you know you're in an awkward situation, and someone with his ability to finish as well, and it's a magnificent strike.
It's a brilliant finish. Well, we said that. He was setting his sights. We said at half-time. He was getting closer and closer, and if Aberdeen continued to defend deep.
There's another chance for Hearts. Ginnelly's away from McDonald. He's got Barry Mackay to his left. Mackay's on it. Looks up at the goal and puts it wide. What a chance. Aberdeen at 6s and 7s. This defence all of a sudden. 57 and a half played. Hearts with a 2-1 lead. Barry Mackay sized up the goal frame and had a huge opportunity to put Hearts 2 goals up.
Aberdeen are on the ropes. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and that could have been, for the smallest man on the pitch, the knockout punch, because if he curls that in, I don't think there's any way back for Aberdeen.
You're right, John, there isn't. You know, I think for most of the game they've been content to sit you know, almost in their own penalty box. We were saying it was looking more and more likely that, and it's away again.
Yeah, here come Hearts again, driving forward for Yutaro Oda. Janelli to his right, Clarkson biting back, but Oda's found Janelli. Just outside the box, clips it in. It comes right across Richardson, who's lost it, and it's Mackay at the byline, pulls it back, cleared by Pollock, and it remains 2-1 to Hearts then. Pollock gave Aberdeen the lead, but goals from Janelli and Shanklin, they've been the main men for goals for Hearts this season. A side that's only won one of their last 9 games. Knew they had to win this one, and you can't say they don't deserve to be in front. As Oda finds Atkinson on the right, crosses in, and Shanklin steers it well wide. He's shooting in right now for the home side.
It's all Hearts. As I said, that Aberdeen they're punch drunk, they're on the ropes. Hearts need to try and get that third goal to take the game away from them, and that's one you expect Lawrence to maybe take a wee touch there before striking it. But listen, here comes the reinforcements. I think Barry Robson knows what's happening.
Yeah, Aberdeen are toiling right now. Let's go to Brian McLaughlin, who can bring us news of a triple Aberdeen change.
Yeah, Angus MacDonald, the first player to be replaced. Also, Johnny Hayes will be coming off. Players coming on: Jack McKenzie, Shayden Morris, and Ryan Duncan. The third change, just waiting on the board coming up. I think they're just actually deciding. Liam Fox, the assistant here, to Barry Robson, just going up, and it's number 8, Connor Barnes, which surprises me, because I think this has been Connor Barnes, certainly just back in today, he's been excellent this afternoon.
Yeah, he has. I think there's an issue there with regards to him signing a contract extension that was on offer to him. Anyway, 3 changes for Aberdeen. Willie, Angus MacDonald coming off, part of that impressive defence.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He's been outstanding since coming to the club. You know, I think they might. Are they going to a 4 though? They're taking they're going like to a 4, and you know, they'll bring on young Jack McKenzie, who'll play at left back. So they'll go to a back 4. So the reason that he's coming off Liam is just that change of shape. They've got to take one of their centre backs off, and unfortunately he's been invited to take his seat. Yeah,
he's the one that they'll have next season for sure. As that long ball out towards Morris, won by Cochrane, pushing header forward to Mackay. We played an hour. Hearts leading 2-1. They'll feel they deserve to be in front. Here's Atkinson on this near side. Infield to Devlin. And then back to Cochrane. Out wide left for Mackay. There's an argument, actually, and it seems bizarre to say this, that Hearts have played better today than they did when they beat Aberdeen 5-0 in January.
Yeah, well, I think in the 5-0 game, Liam, they took their chances. You know what I mean? And the goalkeeper that night, Joe Lewis, didn't have much of a chance with most of these, but Kel Roos has been forced to make a number of saves. And to be honest, over the whole season, Hearts' home form, it's a bit like Aberdeen. It's been very, very decent. It's been their away form that's been patchy.
Well, both teams, John, just to underline that, both teams, 70% of their points have come from home games.
Then that's what you're seeing. Listen, you've called the stats earlier today that the home team normally wins this fixture. Hearts' home form has been excellent all season. Aberdeen's home form has been excellent all season, but both teams have been a little bit fragile on the road, and to really nail down that third place, you know, that's where you're going to have to pick up points. So, you know, if Aberdeen, as I said, can get anything today, it's a big bonus for them. But right now, you've got to say that Hearts are looking
well
like adding to it rather than Aberdeen getting an equaliser.
They're well on top, the home team. As it stands, the gap between 3rd and 4th comes down to 2 points with 2 games to play. Hearts go to Ibrox on Wednesday. Aberdeen are at home to St Mirren. So Aberdeen will hope to have it done by then. They'll hope to beat St Mirren, and they would anticipate Hearts aren't going to go to Ibrox and win. Now, they could quite clearly go to Ibrox and win, and Aberdeen, that will not be in their script. And Aberdeen have got to go to Celtic Park next Saturday. And Hearts at home to Hibs in the derby. Here's Atkinson out to Oda, of course. Hibs' eyes will light up as well at the prospect of a win against Rangers tomorrow that would really put them in the race. Here's Devlin for Hearts, into the centre circle for Haring. Will the changes made by Barry Robson make a difference? He hasn't won a game since he was announced as the manager on a full-time basis. Here's Clarkson squaring it to McKenzie for Aberdeen. Some rare possession here for the visitors. Out to this near side for Marley Watkins, under pressure from Oda. It goes out of play for an Aberdeen throw-in. And the assistant on this near side, Graham McNeely, says that's an Aberdeen ball. He was the assistant at Darvel, who adjudged the Aberdeen goal to be offside. The linesman down on this near side. Hearts incidentally have a man down, and it is Josh Ginnelly who's
not
just
still
been the
angry
spark.
at that, Liam. Yeah, you're still not angry with that brilliant decision on the night. He was only 3 yards on side, for goodness sake.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think whilst there have been a lot of negative headlines about Aberdeen, rightly so, they were pilloried after that, and it was a dreadful performance. But the long and the short of it is that would have taken the tie to extra time, and they could quite easily have gone through and been spared the worst result in Scottish Cup history and the worst result in the club's history as well.
To be fair, we'd have still beat them in the semi-finals, Liam, anyway.
Yeah, John, very much looking forward to the Scottish Cup final. 2 weeks today, the big build-up. You'll be on your way to the National Stadium as we watch Josh Ginnelly receive some treatment. It's going to be a huge occasion for Cally Thistle, but you anticipate and you fully accept that nobody outside of Cally Thistle is expecting anything other than a Celtic win.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're quite happy with that, in the respect that we're realistic, but we do have a better head-to-head against Celtic in the Scottish Cup, so we will cling on to that first and foremost. Celtic will be, there's pressure on Celtic in the respect that they're going for a treble, and we know what football's like. You've just mentioned it there. Would anybody have tipped Darvel to have knocked out Aberdeen? So we've got as good a chance of beating Celtic as Darvel had of beating Aberdeen.
A blow for Hearts meantime, Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, the cheers, you can hear it for Josh Ginnelly. 64 minutes on the clock. A magnificent equaliser in the first half, but his day is now over. He's going to be replaced by George Grant for the last 25 minutes or so. That will probably mean a little tweak in the system as well. But Ginnelly off, Grant on.
To come later, some huge matches, particularly in the bottom six. Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, Livingston, Dundee United, Motherwell, Ross County. United, remember, bottom with 3 to play. Full coverage and open all mic. Celtic, St Mirren is the other match in the top 6 today. Hibs Rangers to come tomorrow, and of course Airdrieonians take a 1-0 lead into that Championship playoff final second leg when they go to Hamilton in that Lanarkshire derby. That's a 5:15 kickoff. We'll be across that in the latter part of Sportsound today, and then a full Premiership midweek card as Aberdeen pick up with Shayden Morris up against Cochrane down by the corner flag on the far side. Morris, he's done well to dig out a ball, but he can only play it back to the edge of the area. But Grant didn't have his eyes on it. Duncan has it for Aberdeen. Clarkson with a lovely ball into Morris inside the box, pulls it back. It's a dreadful attempt to pass it back to Miovski. He's passed it straight to Xander Clark at his near post. Miovski and Watkins are waiting for the pull back on the 6-yard line, and it stays Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1, almost on 66.
Well, it's a big chance. It's the best forward play that Aberdeen have had. Maybe not in the game, but certainly in this half. And Morris, I don't know what he's thinking about. He's done, he's looked up, yeah, but for me, I think you drive that one across the face of the goal. It makes it difficult for defenders. He's got 2 white shirts in there to pick out if he wants to pick, and he just hits it completely. Okay, he's just on the field of play, so you give him that excuse, but it's a big chance for the Dons.
It's Morris again on the far side against Cochrane, and Cochrane's battle back wins it off Morris, who's not really announced himself as an Aberdeen player yet, but here comes Alex Cochrane into the centre circle. Eventually support arrives from Oda. He's got 3 ahead of him. Grant down the middle, Mackay to the left, Shankland to the right. He's gone to the left. Mackay against Richardson at the left angle of the box, back onto his right hand side. Mackay's inside the area to the byline, is crossed straight to Kellaroos at the near post, and it stays Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, I think we've seen the tweaks to both systems now. Aberdeen gone 4-3-3 with Shayden Morris on the right, Watkins on the left, Duncan just playing behind there. And to react to that, with Ginnelly going off now, Stephen Naismith he's bolstered his midfield. He's brought a midfield player on, shoved Shanklin up top, and Grant will pop into that midfield area to help out against the 3 that Aberdeen now have in there.
They have a superior goal difference between the 2 sides as well, do Hearts. A decent margin, which has gone up as things stand. Aberdeen's coming down, Hearts going up by the single goal. Scales with a header into the centre circle. Oh, it's gone to Haring, and now it's with Oda on this right hand side. The final quarter of the game, Hearts leading by 2-1. As it stands, going to within 2 points of Aberdeen, who would be under some serious pressure against St Mirren on Wednesday if they lose this one. Here's Devlin in the centre circle again in the Aberdeen half, forward to Grant. Grant's got an option. Haring's in a brilliant bit of space here if he can find him, which he couldn't. And Aberdeen clear through Pollock. That's a great chance for Hearts there. It's Haring you wouldn't expect to pop up in that position. Perhaps the Aberdeen's defenders weren't expecting him to be there, as Morris is out-muscled on the far side, but he has at least one Aberdeen a throw-in midway inside Hearts territory on 68 minutes. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
It's a poor decision. What an opportunity. If he passes it early, first time, Peter Haring's in. And I think maybe he was caught by surprise that he saw Peter Haring there. He took the extra touch, cut inside Aberdeen defender, and that allowed the opportunity for the Aberdeen defence to get closer and cut out the pass to Haring. But there's no doubt Aberdeen's changes. I saw them just claw their way back slightly into the game without being threatening. The little change has made a difference to them.
Clarkson picking the ball up deep, Willie.
Yeah, without doubt, you know, it's allowed them to get up the park.
And Clarkson, good run from him. He almost managed to pop it through to Watkins. It's too many Hearts defenders in the way, and it breaks out to Oda.
Well, it gives him the chance to get the full-backs forward, and what Clarkson is doing is actually going back in between the two centre-backs as well, and picking the ball up and trying to start play. But it's getting them up the park. That's what they haven't been doing for most of the game. They were sitting too deep with a back five. Now they've went to the back four. The two centre-backs are given more responsibility. Clarkson's coming in there, taking the ball off them, and the two full-backs, more importantly, are getting themselves up the park. So it is looking better for the visitors.
Free kick for the visitors down in the near side, despite Nat Atkinson's protests. Scales takes it right on about the halfway line. Back to Clarkson. He pops it out to Richardson over on that right-hand side. Down the line for Morris. Steps in field. Cochrane sticking with him. Morris back into the centre circle. And it's Clarkson who finds Scales. Scales out to Mackenzie on this near side, midway inside the Hearts half. Actually, Aberdeen had more opportunities in that first half than they've managed to muster in the second, as Watkins does well to pinch it back off Civic. Here's Duncan to Mackenzie, to the edge of the area for Ramadani. Good run forward from him. It comes off Atkinson. Miovski leaving it there for Richardson. Eventually it breaks Miovski's way, and he can only scuff a shot at goal, which Clark holds on to. 20 to play. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
I think Civic's just switched off there, isn't he? And Mally Watkins has managed to run in behind him to get control of the ball, and then again, you know, the ball played towards the back post and opportunities. It's half little chances. Is the ball going to fall for Aberdeen? Does it fall for the defender? On this occasion, it falls eventually for the defender. But it's turning the game around for Aberdeen. You know, sometimes, you know, it's really important at certain stages of the game that you make these decisions tactically. And I think the tactical decision here, and although it's mostly down to players, but it's certainly working for Aberdeen.
Long clearance, which is picked up by Pollock for Aberdeen, midway inside his own half. Long ball asking a lot of Morris. He's going to chase it though, down towards the corner flag. He's done well to get there. He can only keep it in play for Hearts. He puts it into the box. It's rifled clear up into the air by Kai Rolls. Pollock wrestling Shanklin. The Hearts fans felt that was a foul, and Pollock was standing his ground as it breaks off Ramadani, and out for a Hearts throw-in over on the far side. 19 minutes to play. Hearts leading by 2-1. A game they have to win is a game that they are winning.
You can see the tide's changed because of the fans around us. They're complaining that Pollock's manhandling Shanklin up there, and it's just a good old-fashioned tussle. Striker at the centre half, but Hearts fans are now getting a wee bit anxious, a wee bit nervous. They can see the game has turned slightly in Aberdeen's favour now. They're getting more of the ball. They're getting forward. They need to get, George Grant needs to get up tight against Clarkson and stop him getting on the ball, because he is the creative influence for Aberdeen. But you can now see a little bit of nervousness, because Hearts now fans know they've got something to hold on to. They've got something to defend. They know how important this game is. And the fans across the city will be licking their lips as well, because Hibs will be thinking, we get a result, we're right back in the frame as well. So it's all to play for, and this could, as we know, in the top half of the table, it could be still plenty to play for with a couple of matches to go.
Yeah, I mean, Hearts win this, and they're in a good position to do so. They go to within 2 of Aberdeen. If Hibs beat Rangers tomorrow, they'd go to within 3 of Aberdeen. Now, the Hibs run-in is tough. They've got Rangers and Celtic back-to-back, then they come here for the derby. But they'll be...
So no points.
But they'll be confident though, won't they? They'll be confident. Well, by the way, you say no points. Hibs haven't beaten Rangers in a top-flight game at Easter Road since, I think, 2006.
In fairness to Hibs, they've seen...
Steady, John, you have to think what you're going to say now.
I have to think what I'm going to say here. I thought they were excellent last week against Aberdeen. I genuinely did. I thought they deserved to win the game. And I think they will go into the game tomorrow with a degree of confidence. Now, you know, history will tell you that it's not a fixture they do well in, but Easter Road, you know, with Hibs playing the freedom that they played with last week, and also they played very well against St Mirren the week before. they will feel confident that they can perhaps turn Rangers over, and if they do, then it's a three-horse race.
Too right. It'll still be in Aberdeen's hands though, at home to St Mirren. We'll hope that the Glasgow teams beat the Edinburgh sides in midweek. The Hearts have a job to do here as George Grant goes back to Cochrane, sweeps it into the midfield. It breaks Grant's way. Well, one back by Duncan, and Watkins, I think, has left one on George Grant. He's already on a yellow, remember, Marley Watkins. That's a free kick to Hearts.
But without preempting it, William, could you imagine if it goes to the last game of the season, Aberdeen travelling to Celtic, Hearts playing Hibs, all with the possibility
Incredible.
to clinch third place.
It's astonishing, yeah. Aberdeen, that's why I'm saying Aberdeen will want to get it done on Wednesday. They'll hope it'll be done on Wednesday. Otherwise, they've got to go for a rare league victory at Celtic Park.
Some touch line tantrums. Barry Robson, I think it is, that's getting the yellow card there.
Yeah, Kevin Clancy's gone over to the Aberdeen boss. A very good goal-scoring record here at Tynecastle did Barry Robson. I think he scored here more than anywhere else in his playing career. 16 minutes to play. Hearts leading 2-1, and Hearts with a free kick inside the Aberdeen half. A few yards away from the edge of the centre circle. Cochrane's a dreadful ball from Cochrane. He sweeps it up high and behind for the goal kick on the right-hand side of the goal. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1. It remains as we hurtle towards the final 15.
I think that sums up the mood of the game at the moment. You know, it's just the Hearts fans are a wee bit anxious. They overhit the free kick. There's a groan, and you know, if we go back a mere half an hour ago, this stadium was bouncing and bumping and everything was going on, and suddenly there's a little bit of nervousness creeping in.
You can understand that though, can't you? You can understand that the players will be nervous, the fans will be nervous. It's a game they have to win. Aberdeen would be quite happy from this point if they got a draw.
It's a game that they've dominated as well, so. But I do think the change has made a big difference, a huge difference. You know, Aberdeen, I think, going from that deep line 5 to a more adventurous, leaving the two centre-backs, giving them the responsibility to take care of what is just one striker now in Shanklin. I think it's changed the game for Aberdeen, no doubt about it.
Hearts changes, Brian.
Yeah, a couple of changes being made. Michael Smith and Alan Forrest, the players coming on. They're replacing Barry Mackay. And number 88, Yutara Oda, who's still seeking his first goal at the club. He's become a fan's favourite in the last 3 or 4 weeks here. You'd have to say he had a terrific game against Ross County, and not so well against Celtic. But he's had an excellent afternoon again today, but just can't find the back of the net. Anyway, he's replaced with 15 minutes left.
You can see Michael Smith's come on with some instructions. He's been over to George Grant, he's been over to Devlin, he spoke to Haring. I'm just wondering if Hearts are just going to tweak it again, because I think they have to go man for man in the middle of the park, because that's where Aberdeen have got the extra man at the moment.
They've beefed it up now though, John, haven't they?
It looks like they've gone a diamond, with Haring sitting at the base, with Devlin and Smith either side, and Grant being asked to what Willie said there, go and support Lawrence Shanklin, because he's been left on his own for the last 15 minutes or so.
Aberdeen throw-in, which Richardson's going to take wide on that right-hand side. Long throw down the line, looking for Morris. Underneath it's Kai Rolls, hooks it up high into the air, just drops off the toe of Grant, and then it's a long ball. Miovski's trying to get it behind the defender. Here it's Bojan Miovski. He's gone down inside the box, comes right through to Clark. The referee doesn't see it as a penalty, and Clark holds on. Miovski was between the two defenders. He's appealing to the referee, but Kevin Clancy shook his head.
He should be able to get a shot off there, John.
I think he's tried so hard to draw the penalty.
Yeah,
he's got an opportunity to shoot.
It's on his right foot, he's right through, he's got a clear opportunity to strike that towards goal. That's a big chance. Don't know why he doesn't take it. You're right, he's more intent and maybe trying to buy the penalty rather than just finishing off the big chance that he had.
Morris goes down, referee says the ball was taken, he's happy with it. Hearts will play on. It's Devlin across the halfway line, rolls it out to the left hand side, and it's moved in by Smith to Grant, and back to the left of the circle for Haring. Big switch for Atkinson. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Atkinson controls. Now he's inside the Aberdeen box. Low ball back. Devlin tries to pull it back towards the penalty spot, and it's cleared by Ramadani. Civic all over Miovski. Miovski tries to get into possession on this near side. He's done well to work it back to Watkins. Forward to Duncan, who passes it back to Leighton Clarkson. And he's going to try and switch the play out to the right for Richardson. I think Morris was the target, actually. He can't find either of them. And it goes out to the Hearts throat.
Is there a case for the young striker to be thrown on with the last 10 minutes?
Well, they are making a change, but it's not Alfie Babbage, Brian.
Yeah, it's Dylan Marcandy, and I think that's in relation to the tactical switch that Stephen Naismith says. Yeah, Dylan Marcandy's coming on, Marley Watkins, the player, being replaced.
He's only made a handful of appearances, Marcandy. He's on loan from Blackburn Rovers.
I think why not? You know, I mean,
Babbage.
I've only seen Babbage, you know, a couple of occasions for 5-10 minutes in each occasion. He's a strong, powerful lad. He's scoring goals for fun, you know, at the level that he's playing at. He's been sitting on the bench and, you know, a lot of occasions, got a couple of opportunities. But why not? I think as we go into the last 10 minutes of the game, absolutely.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him. Here's Forrest for Hearts, though. Chance, header, save. George Grant slaps the turf in frustration as he puts his header straight at Kelleros as we approach 79 minutes. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1. As Richardson comes forward and finds Marcandy's just on the pitch, moving in field and rolling it back to Pollock. Alfie Babbage has scored 38 goals for the Aberdeen youth this season, including I think 4 hat-tricks. Scored 4 in one of those games. He's on the bench having signed that contract extension. It's a poor ball by Scales later.
But this might be the opportunity, Liam. You know, he's a young kid. Willie said he's powerful, so the physicality aspect of it probably wouldn't upset him. And let's be honest right now, Aberdeen need a goal.
Throw in Hearts, and that pass from Liam Scales won't do them any good at all. He put it straight out of the pitch and Atkinson over it. The team news will be dropping from the other matches taking place at 3 o'clock. 4 in the Premiership, bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland for the live text, and you'll be able to catch up with that. We'll get some pre-match interviews as well once we are done here, post-match from Tynecastle as well. And there's only 10 minutes of the regulation 90 to play. Hearts, as it stands, will be going to within 2 points of Aberdeen in the race for third with 2 games to play. Pollock forward towards Richardson. It's too much on it though. He's going to get a second chance when he's put it into the main stand for a Hearts throw-in. Huge 10 minutes in the context of both these clubs' respective seasons now.
You can see the Aberdeen bench now. Agnew, Fox, Robson, they're shouting at Morris to stay up the park. They want to try and keep people up there. They know they've got to throw caution to the wind, and I don't think the score in this game's finished just yet.
Long ball from Clarkson. Morris is going to chase this one. He's going to get there ahead of Atkinson. He's in the box. He's on his own at the moment. Miovski has arrived. It is Shayden Morris. Delicate ball's poor though. He's put it way behind for the goal kick, and Xander Clark and his defenders are absolutely delighted with that. 2-1 to Hearts.
What a pass though from Clarkson again. I mean,
the guy's different class, Willie, isn't he?
It's superb. It's supreme. I mean, he sees the pass, but you've got to have the ability and the quality. And the young man has got it. He's got a fantastic future ahead of him. That was just simply superb, and Morris should have done much better. You know, he controlled it well enough, he got himself onto it, but then it's a vision, and then his use of the ball wasn't good enough to take advantage of that quite superb pass.
He'll be a bit rusty as well, Shayden Morris. He's been injured, and when he was fit he wasn't really doing enough to get in the team. As Haring heads forward, Scales with a cushion header for Mackenzie on the near side. Forrest for company. Mackenzie does well to hold him off, passes it back to Scales, and switch the play to Matty Pollock. Thought about stepping onto it there, he lets it go across, and he's just managed to keep it in play down that right hand side, but then this pass does go out of play, and that's a throw into Hearts over on the far side. It's all going the home side's way right now, almost on 82 minutes. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
That's one of the first few times I've ever seen Pollock look a wee bit flustered there, and he's been, listen, he looked a bit leggy because they've been put through the mill today. They've been having to work their socks off, and as I said, it was dangerous to keep defending deep. And you know, listen, you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person in the world to tip Laura Shankly score. If they keep defending deep, someone's going to fall to them eventually. But those 2 tremendous finishes have got Hearts' noses in front, but still all to play for.
Shanklin's one, just the classic striker's finish, isn't it? The low ball into the near post, and he lashed it past Kelleros. First time Aberdeen have conceded more than 1 in a game since that 4-0 defeat at Celtic Park in February. Right now it's handing them defeat here. It will be no wins in 3 for the Dons since the split, and that's a concern. Will it cost them third? They won't get away with it on Wednesday without winning, you suspect. Here is Michael Smith. Loads of space, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Decides to shoot. It's fallen Devlin's way. Tees it up. Oh, it's wide. What a chance. earth has Alan Forrest missed that one? I think he's trying to work it out as well. Penalty spot, goal gaping, he puts it wide. 83 played, Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1. Will that prove costly or not?
Golden opportunity. He's got to score, there's no excuse. I thought at first Grant was going to shoot because he had an opportunity, but he set it up for him, and you said it's a side foot from 12 yards, roll it into either corner, and it's game, set and match. And if Hearts fans and the coaching staff were nervous before that moment, they're going to be even more nervous now, because that was the moment to finally put this game to bed.
I would have finished it.
It does. That's game over, isn't it? And you know, as John says, it's a glaring opportunity. You know, it's not a half chance. It's a chance that should have been taken. It just needs that side foot. Roos has got no chance of doing anything with it if it's in between the white sticks. And unfortunately for Hearts, it goes wide. But glaring miss from Alan Forrest.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say no chance, Willie. There's someone very close to you.
Just because someone much more intellectual than me said, of course, there's always a chance. As Ramadani chases, Sibic will see it back to his keeper though. He holds on over Ramadani with the captain's armband now. Aberdeen are having to go through their squad to find captain contenders. Johnny Hayes was the captain at the start of the game, hooked early in the second half when Aberdeen were being run ragged. 2-1 down they are, and we're heading towards the final 5 minutes at Tynecastle. Mackenzie's header goes straight to Haring. Haring gets there ahead of Mackenzie. Pollock will win the leap against Forrest, but his header goes straight to Devlin. Devlin and Forrest doing well, dig themselves out of a cul-de-sac there. Back to Haring, wide left for Grant, takes a touch, his cross is blocked by Richardson though. Now controlled by Cochrane, he's had an excellent game, I think, Alex Cochrane. Now it's with Grant down that left-hand side, looking up at the box, hitting the byline, rolling it back to Forrest. Forrest back to Grant. Aberdeen can't get a kick of the ball, and Grant has it deep inside enemy territory here. Twisting and turning on the touchline and winning the free kick as well. The foul by Matty Pollock. 85 played, Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1. Hearts free kick, level with the Aberdeen penalty spot.
Yeah, Pollock screaming at other people to help him out, because he chased them all over the place. Chased about 10 yards and then about another 5 yards here, 5 yards there. And he's looking for help, but as I say, that's the area that Hearts want to keep the ball in. There's still 5 minutes, I'm sure there'll be at least another 4 added to it, so Aberdeen have got roughly around about 9-10 minutes to get what could be a priceless goal for them.
Let's get news of Hearts' final change, Brian.
Peter Haring, of course, back in the starting 11 today after a successful appeal against the red card last week. Another fantastic afternoon for Peter this afternoon. He's been replaced. Keamut Soglu is the player coming on for the last 4 minutes plus stoppage.
Yeah, Brian, it looks like Aberdeen are going to make a change as well. We'll get to that in a moment though, because Hearts have a free kick and a chance to bury the match here. Right over on the touchline, free kick. It's going to be taken by Grant into the box. It comes, out comes the goalkeeper, and he's taken the Hearts player as well. As Aberdeen clear their lines, it's come all the way through to Xander Clark. 86 and a half just about played. Hearts have a man down in the Aberdeen box, and the referee's going to stop the play to allow attention to be given here to whoever it is that's down. I'm not sure who got clocked there as the free kick was delivered.
It's good goalkeeping though, isn't it? It's brave goalkeeping when Roos comes out there and takes control of the situation and gets a good clean punch on it. Takes the player as well. I think it is Alfie Bavidge that's getting the opportunity over there to come on as well.
Who wants the captain's armband for Aberdeen? Liam Scales eventually gets it. Brian, Aberdeen's final change.
Yeah, Alfie Bavidge, Willie has had his wish granted. Alfie Bavidge coming on. The player who's replacing is Ilmbir Ramadani.
Yeah, he's not got much time to make an impression. 3 minutes plus stoppages. There'll be another bit of time bolted on at the end of this because of this injury, John.
Yeah, because Kyle Rowles, it's down, but what a ball that was delivered in there, and there was 3 Aberdeen defenders plus Kelly Roos and Kyle Rowles all going for it. Rowles has been clattered accidentally, it has to be said, and he's getting treatment for it. But yeah, well, listen, young Bavidge, he's a goal scorer, so you know, is this his moment? Can he produce goal number 39 and his first ever senior goal for Aberdeen? Because if he did, then the small travelling army over there in the corner would go absolutely mad. But I'm sure the vast majority in Tynecastle, and myself included, I have to admit, hope that Hearts see this out.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I think you're entitled to be partisan, to be fair, as Willie is for Aberdeen. Two proper club legends of these two sides that we are watching here, and it's been a really enthralling game. It's not over yet. Mackay Rolls is down, and Hearts will be entitled to make another change if this is a head knock. If this is a concussion, will be allowed to make another change.
And that would allow Aberdeen one as well.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
right.
So
That's
they
right.
could, you know what I mean? It might not be Barry Robson's last throw of the dice. Maybe throw a white strip on Joe Lewis and chuck him up front. You know, we've seen it with David James many years ago. But
Remember that, yeah.
I'm not sure that Aberdeen will be that desperate. And no disregard to Joe, because you know, all these goalkeepers fancy themselves as strikers from time to time.
Mackay Rolls is going to come back on, so it's going to be inconsequential, I think. And just taking him over to the touchline on the far side. We're about to tick into the 90th minute, but there's going to be a good 5 or 6 added on, you would think. Might get wind of that. I'll let you know as soon as I know, although you'll all know in the space of the next 60 seconds. Back to Xander Clark then. Game on again. Mackay Rolls is back on the pitch. Do Aberdeen have a chance in them? They've not really had too many looks at Xander Clark's goal in this second half. Long ball from the big goalkeepers, won by Pollock. Marcandy on the far side wins a throw-in for Aberdeen. It's the excellent Cochrane with the challenge over there as well. He's been really good today, John. I don't know what you think of Alex Cochrane's performance, but I think he has shown just how important a player he is for the club today, and just why they brought him back after his loan spell last season.
Absolutely, and you know, I think Hearts...
He's had his critics as well.
Yeah, listen, in the run that he mentioned, 1-1 and 9, they were all getting criticised. Everybody. And Cochrane seemed to take the brunt of a lot of it, but he's shown his importance. He brings a nice balance to this Hearts side. The
injury time is 8 minutes. It's about to be announced. Here's Morris. Back it comes to Clarkson, who shoots. Not a great effort, and it's cleared by Cochrane as we go into the first of 8 minutes. At the end of the match here, it's Marcandy out to that far side for Richardson. His pass straight to George Grant though, and he lashes it long looking for Shanklin's going to skip away from him though. And now he goes for a throw into Aberdeen at level with the edge of the centre circle on this near side. The Aberdeen left.
There's nothing left for Aberdeen but to throw just about everything forward there, and perhaps just leave Scales at the back himself. You know, it's such an important what is it, 8 minutes to go?
Yeah.
You know, and
well, that kick,
so much at stake as well.
At that kick from the keeper, there's 6 men along the front line there. So they are throwing the kitchen sink at the moment, but it's, as you say, this is sometimes where you have to have a cool head. You know, yes, you're desperate for a goal, yes, time's running out, but this is where someone like Clarkson with his clear thought of mind and pass the ball and just have that wee bit of clarity thought, that wee bit quality to produce something there, because if you just start banging it up to the 6 that are up front, it's just going to get knocked down again.
Yeah, but I think you've got to take risk. You know, there's a risk element in it, but I don't see, you know, if you've got Shanklin there and you've got Scales, get Scales to mark Shanklin and maybe one sitting in front of him, and then making sure you've got the width as well, and obviously through the middle too, a bit of a, well, it's a two-man strike force now, isn't it, with Babbage and Majowski.
Game's back on. There'll be another minute added on top, I would have thought now after that. Cochrane took a sore one on the far side. It was his challenge. He actually got the throw-in as well off the Aberdeen player. Here's Liam Scales rolling it to Clarkson. Clarkson looks up, long ball. Shayden Morris will give chase here up against Atkinson. Morris taking it down, left-hand side of the box. Good challenge by Atkinson, not once but twice. The second on Mackenzie, and Forrest plays it off Morris, who's going to get there. He's down with the byline. He came off the corner flag. Atkinson does brilliantly there though. He gets it half away. Duncan finds Clarkson. Out to Ryan Duncan again. Level the edge of the D. Cross ball in. It was off the chest of Mackenzie, and that works out perfectly for Xander Clark, who holds on to it. We played 2.5 of the 8 minutes that were officially added. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, a little bit worried there. He got one, but I thought the ball had actually gone out for a by kick. But the far side linesman, who obviously, it's difficult for him to see. I'm sure it had been checked by VAR, but it was enough to make the 3.5 stands even more nervous. And as we say, Aberdeen will throw everything they've got at it, and Hearts will hope to catch them on the break now and try and finish this game off.
just run the clock down, isn't it, for Hearts now? You know, going into time added on, and to be fair, they've been a better team. They deserve the victory. I don't think you can put a case forward that they don't deserve if it finishes. You know, with the 2-1, they had numerous chances. You know, first half and second half. Yeah, the game's got a bit scrappy after they went into the lead, but that's maybe to be expected when there's so much at stake.
Clarkson as deep into his own half as he can get, clears it. George Grant gets a vital flick onto it, finds Devlin, who works it back to Grant, finds Smith. Awkward to control for Michael Smith there, as Ryan Duncan gets onto it, and it's rolled out to the right for Richardson. He shows way too much to Devlin. The Hearts give it away through Cochrane this time. It's with Pollock. 3.5 of the 8 minutes have been played. 2-1 to Hearts. Long ball forward towards Morris. Good first touch actually against Atkinson. He's inside the box here, but again brilliantly defended by Atkinson, who really has justified his selection ahead of James Hill today.
I'll tell you what, I think he's a wee bit fortunate there, because I think there was a little tug on Morris's jersey there, but he suddenly realised what he was doing and let it go pretty quickly as well. But listen, Cochrane's been asked to defend, now Atkinson's been asked to defend. Aberdeen, as we expected, they're throwing everything at it, but just don't have that little bit of quality, that little bit of coolness that you need to make a chance.
Yeah, it's desperation from Aberdeen now, though, isn't it? It's so late in the game, and you know, Hearts are just getting men behind the ball, making it really difficult. Long passes, 60-yard plus passes that Aberdeen are looking for to open up that Hearts defence. So it's rather desperate, I would suggest.
Long ball comes all the way through to Kellaroos. Played almost 5 minutes of the injury time. 8 were added. I think there'll be a little bit added on top of that as well. Aberdeen have been in this position before here. Remember Barry Nicholson scoring a late equaliser. He's sent off for celebrating by ripping his top off. A 1-1 draw was enough to seal third for Aberdeen that season. A draw here would be more than enough for them today. But Hearts clearing well through Kiermaitzoglu. And Shanklin's onto it. Nobody near him. And Lawrence Shanklin, right-hand side of the box, chance to pull it across. Roos saves, but Devlin with an empty net sees his effort blocked right in the line. Leighton Clarkson has come from nowhere.
Unbelievable defending. Honestly incredible.
Must have given offside.
He must have been offside somewhere, but it must have been the ball across the goals. But what a passage of play. Shanklin tees it up. It's brilliantly blocked by Roos. It looked a tap-in for Devlin, and Clarkson appears from nowhere. It's actually a shame that they've had to pull all that back. It was all for nothing.
He did that against Rangers, didn't he? It was Morelos with a hooked effort at goal. Clarkson was on the line to stop that one. 2-1 Hearts. We played almost 6 of the 8 minutes. Pollock wins the header at the edge of the Hearts box, headed away by Atkinson. And a vital flick away by Kiermaitzoglu. Shanklin's onto it here. He's driving down that left-hand side. Devlin's getting up in support. Aberdeen have left so many gaps at the back now. Shanklin decides to take it down to the corner flag, and Hearts fans applaud him for doing so. That's gone out of play. It's going to be a throw into Hearts on the far side. In fact, it's gone Aberdeen's way. So 6.5 minutes of injury time have come and gone. 8 were added. 2-1 Hearts, and the ball is exactly where Aberdeen don't want it, right down in their own byline as Clarkson lashes it forward, and Atkinson has just been caught by Pollock, and the jump was a 50-50. They're going to have to stop play, and they are waving on the Hearts medical team to see how bad this is. It was a difficult collision, and it silenced the supporters momentarily here. The game is just about done. We played almost 7 minutes of injury time, but this will just add even more time in on top of it. Certainly both of them had the right intentions there. They were both going for the ball.
It was actually I was a bit worried there, not ahead before the head clash, because had the Aberdeen player won it as they did, the 2 men running on behind it, was one that probably Atkinson should have just backed off and defended the space rather than go for the ball, because, as I say, had that just stopped a little bit quicker, Aberdeen, than Morris was in. So, as you say, this is what always intrigued me, Liam, is a man who's played the game a long time, is there was about a minute to go when this happened. Do they just stop it? No, right, all right, I've got a minute to go, I'll stop it here. I know there's a minute left. Whenever this delay is finished, we've only got 1 more minute to play, or do they actually add on add on the stoppage. I would be thinking, right, it's 8 minutes, we've played 7. As soon as they're tidied up, as soon as they're back on their feet, we've got 1 minute to play. But I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's the 8 minutes played of injury time that were initially added on. There was a knock sustained by Alex Cochrane over on the far side right at the start of stoppage time, which would have probably added on 1 minute. This is going to add on another couple at least right now, because both players are still down, Atkinson and Pollock, and both sets of medical staff are still on the pitch. Atkinson's on his feet, he's going to go over to the far side touchline. What of Matty Pollock? They're just doing the old concussion test for him down there just now. Hearts are nearly there, and they will now be hoping Aberdeen drop points against St Mirren on Wednesday, and Aberdeen, believe it or not, Willie, will be hoping their old pals Rangers do them a favour.
Well, yes, you know, I think the disappointing aspect from an Aberdeen point of view is how poorly they played against Hibs, but managed to get away with a point. It could have been much worse if that would have went to form and Hibs, you know, took the 3 points, which they thoroughly deserved to take the 3 points, and now they've come down to the capital and played Hearts, and it looks as though they're going to go down to Hearts, so they've got to take advantage of the home game. I thought they would have had to have taken advantage of the 2 home games. They haven't with Hearts, but there's no doubt that against St Mirren, nothing else will do other than a victory.
Yeah, because then they have to win at Celtic Park, and even that might not be enough if Hearts beat Rangers. Game on again. We played 9.5 minutes of injury time, by the way, so I don't know how much Kevin Clancy's going to add on, but I think there'll be a good 3 from this point. Clarkson with a switch of play out to Richardson on the right hand side. Long ball from Jayden Richardson. Pollock's back on, so too Atkinson. Scales wins the header, drops Devlin's way, and he's able to clear ahead of Babbage, who hasn't had a touch since coming on. Richardson has to go back to his goalkeeper. And the thing is, the supporters don't know how long's left either at this point.
There's only one man.
Yeah, he's right in the middle. And Kevin Clancy has the answer. It's a foul by McKenzie, and then there was another one by Duncan and Devlin. If that wasn't enough, it's going to be a Hearts free kick. And that's actually gone in. Who hit that?
McKenzie. McKenzie was so annoyed.
He booted it back towards his own goal and it went in.
Goalkeeper, right on his goalkeeper's head in the top corner. That would have been Aka Humphreys against Dundee United there. What a finish from 60 yards. And by the way, Kelru's trying to go back and save it. It couldn't get there.
2 games to play for these two. Aberdeen at home to St Mirren and away to Celtic. Hearts away to Rangers, at home to Hibs. Aberdeen with a 2-point advantage. Toby Sibbick with a long ball from the free kick into the Aberdeen box. It goes, going to come right through to Kellaroos. Lets it go behind for the goal kick. We've played 11 minutes of injury time. Kevin Clancy's having a long look at his watch, and he sounds the full-time whistle. And that roar tells you how big a win this is for Heart of Midlothian. Last season, they romped to 3rd place. They'll feel they should have been romping to 3rd place this season as Stephen Naismith celebrates down there, clenched fists. His team were excellent by and large today, and they've just given themselves a seriously good chance now of finishing 3rd again. Yes, they've got to go to Ibrox. They might need to win that one. And this has piled an almighty amount of pressure on Aberdeen's home game against St Mirren on Wednesday. A game they'll have to win. Either that or they're going to have to go to Celtic Park, and even then they might need snookers. But they are still 3rd, that's the positive for them. They took the lead through Matty Pollock just beyond the half hour. But Hearts were the better side throughout, and they found that crucial equaliser just as we were heading towards half-time. An explosive shot from Josh Ginnelly found the top right corner, and it came at a brilliant time for the home side as well, because they came out the traps again at the start of the second half. And who else but Lawrence Shankland, who couldn't buy a goal in an Aberdeen shirt. He admits himself he didn't treat his Aberdeen career as he should have done, but he's making up for it in the maroon of Hearts now, as he's slammed home from close range. He had to wait for a VAR offside check, but the goal stood. It came early in the second half, and Aberdeen just didn't have the wherewithal to find an equaliser, barely testing Zander Clark in that second half. Missing some key players, McCrory, Duke Shinnie, and perhaps one or two others who couldn't take part. They will lament the Shinnie one in particular. This was the game, the extra game in his 4-match ban. This was the one he couldn't play in because of that so-called frivolous appeal. But this is Hearts Day, and it might even have got eyes lighting up in Leith on the other side of the city as well, because if Hibs beat Rangers tomorrow, 3rd, 4th and 5th would be separated by just 3 points going into the final 2. And for Aberdeen, they still have that advantage, and a win over St Mirren on Wednesday could be enough for them. We'll find that out, but for now the gap's down to 2 between these two. It finished Heart of Midlothian 2, Aberdeen 1.